All right, welcome back, True Seeker. It is Saturday, November 11th, 2023, the day that used to be Armistice Day, now the day that's known as Veterans Day. And yesterday, big news in the college football world. On Friday, it was announced that Jim Harbaugh, the Michigan head coach, would be suspended. And now today they say he's going to appear in court over this coming Friday, which is November 17th. And again, like always, it's ritual. It's ritual. It's storyline. It's the stuff that keeps people talking around the water cooler about what doesn't matter, like rig sports, college and pro. Every day, these stories that are given to us are contrived. In the same way the college football season is rigged by the numbers, so is this story. And you can see that very clearly, again, when you understand the simple code of letters and numbers that make up the English language that's coordinated with the calendar that goes back to the Catholic Church and the Pope. And of course, here we are talking about Jim Harbaugh, who's had some rituals with Pope Francis. Who can forget when he went and met the Pope and then his tight end Jake Dick Butt fell to the 145th pick of the draft when he was supposed to go in the first round. Again, if you don't know about these things, we'll go back and revisit. But notice from Harbaugh's birthday, December 23rd, 2022, to the suspension Friday, November 10th, the announcement was 322 days. Of course, 322 is the number of Skull and Bones, and American football is credited to Walter Camp of Yale Skull and Bones. But also 322 days is 46 weeks. And again, Michigan is the 46th state. It's why we said Michigan would go for Biden, because again, we called why Biden would be number 46 a year before it happened. He was elected number 46, exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. Of course, in Gematria, Catholic equals 46, which Harbaugh is. And the nation's first Catholic president, JFK, was killed at age 46. But understand, all of these things are related. They're not an accident. They're not separate. They're all part of the same ongoing ritual and storyline. So Harbaugh gets suspended exactly 46 weeks after his birthday. If you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Michigan equals 44. Like at the start of this year, we supposedly had the Michigan State mass shooting on the 44th day of the year. And then the victim showed up at James Harden's game, where James Harden had like 15 different 44 rituals in the game. It's also the shooting number 44, but it connects with Michigan as well. Again, the Michigan State shooting supposedly on February 13th. And at the time, if you want to go back and revisit that work, we showed how it was synced up with their college basketball season. But think about it. Michigan, 46 forwards, 44 in reverse. 46 weeks after his birthday, now he's going to appear in court November 17th, the day leaving 44 days left in the year. So I wanted to look at the Michigan football schedule to see if there was anything else going on here, and clearly there is. November 18th, next Saturday, is the 322nd day of the year, 322. Again, very special number. It's not an accident. The founder of the Illuminati, for example, died on that date in history. Just like it's not an accident that his mentor, his name in Gematria equals 322. Again, this is a special number. So look at who Michigan plays on the 322nd day of the year. They play Maryland. And why does that matter? Well, where does his brother coach football at? Jim Harbaugh's brother, John Harbaugh, coaches the Maryland football team in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens, the same Baltimore Ravens that beat Jim Harbaugh when he was the coach of the 49ers in Super Bowl 47. And again, to go back to that Super Bowl, it was played on February 3rd, the 34th day of the year, and the Ravens won 34-31. Gematria. Look at how Maryland equals 34 forwards and 47 in reverse, right? That was Super Bowl 47, played on the 34th day of the year, where the Maryland team upset with 34 points. And remember, in Gematria, John also equals 47. John defeated Jim in Super Bowl 47. But like we're showing year after year, college and pro, it's all connected. It's like at the beginning of this season, Deion Sanders was the huge focus. And Deion Sanders started the year perfect. And all of Deion Sanders' NFL teams began the year perfect. And Deion's teams were 11-0 until the day he lost. And then the day he lost, the next day, his four remaining teams to play that week all lost. His teams went 0-4 in the NFL after he lost his first college game at Colorado. Again, it's a script. And The ritualism, it's just so transparent. And really, when you're aware of the knowledge, you can see through this stuff in the snap of fingers. Plug in the calendar. Oh, there it is again. Michigan 46. How many times have we talked about Michigan in 46? So it's just storyline. It's just narrative. It'll make people mad. It'll make people outraged. It'll make other people cheer. I'm sure the Penn State fans love it today. Again, it's the ongoing circus of contrived information that fills up the minds of the masses. I mean, these are the things that people are talking about and thinking about, and treating them as if they're legitimate storylines. They're not. There's nothing legitimate about collegiate or professional sports when it can be gambled on. All of these games are rigged and scripted. All of them. That's not an exaggeration. That's something that's provable. It's something we've been proving for over a decade now. And again, from the news to the sports, it's the same code used over and over. It's why there had to be a Michigan shooting by the numbers on the day, leaving 44 days left in the year. And then remember when they had the Oxford, Michigan shooting. Remember how Michigan wore the patch for the football player that was supposedly killed at Oxford, Michigan for number 42? There were other people killed in the shooting, but they just chose to wear the patch for number 42. And then in that game, they win with 42 points. And again, the focus is on gun control. And again, another number that's used ritualistically with gun control all the time too, 42. But anyhow, the Harbaugh brothers, scripted storylines, same old numbers, and there might be even more to the storyline than what I'm seeing right here. But I mean, these are the main components, and it's funny. The first time Michigan and Maryland played each other was back in the same time period when Harbaugh was becoming a quarterback in the NFL. Jim Harbaugh. John never played in the NFL, just a coach. To read a little bit about the article, Michigan's Jim Harbaugh will not coach the third-ranked Wolverines in Saturday's matchup against number 10 Penn State. Sources told ESPN's Pete Thamel as there will not be a ruling Saturday on a temporary restraining order filed Friday night. Harbaugh was handed a 3-game suspension Friday by the Big Ten as punishment for Michigan being found to have violated the conference's sportsmanship policy by using advanced scouting to steal opponents' signs. In response to the penalty, attorneys representing Michigan and Harbaugh filed a breach of contract complaint Friday night, asking a judge in the state to prevent the Big Ten from imposing a suspension on Harbaugh this weekend. An in-person hearing for the temporary restraining order is scheduled for Friday at 9 a.m., according to a person familiar with the court filings. The one other thing to consider about this is it comes right before college football week 11. Again, just so many rituals with the number 11 as well. 11, the master number, football, a game of 11 on 11. In court at 9 a.m. Remember when Skull and Bones member 322 Bush was in office for 9/11? Remember how we said on March 30th this year, it looked like the Rangers had a great narrative for the World Series because of the ritual they did with Bush on opening day. Then he's thrown out the first pitch of the Rangers World Series, and then the 119th World Series is over on Bush's 119th day of his age, as the Diamondbacks make it to their second World Series, the first since 9/11. Again, you guys, it's a joke. All of this stuff is a joke. And the bigger joke at this point is why have we been showing this for a decade and proving our point, and why doesn't the whole English-speaking American populace know about it? Why is anyone still filling into that big building in Michigan for that football stadium? It should be empty. Probably house all the homeless people of the world in that Michigan football stadium that's open once a week for a section of the year to watch some rigged games. You guys ever seen that building? It is ridiculous. It's the biggest building I've seen with my own eyes, and it just goes on forever. God, it's amazing. It's amazing what these rigged sports have accomplished. So, all right, let me put my eyes on the chat real quick. Does anybody else have any other observations about this ritual, or did we hit all the main points there, connecting yet again the NCAA to the NFL? When people come here and ask, is everything scripted? I mean, it's just like, do you have any life experience? Is everything about your life scripted? Is the answer to that question no? Then obviously not everything's scripted. What this channel is about is exposing how the things that are on the screens, the things that control the minds of the masses, things on the screens, the bullshit news, the bullshit sports, how it's all controlled by this same Jesuit Masonic cabal and executed this way every single day. We're not saying everything's scripted. I don't know why people come and ask that question. It's like I just feel like humanity is just under a spell. Everyone has the same thoughts and like thoughtless thoughts in their head. It's just like, why does everyone come and ask that? Are we saying everything in the world is scripted? I mean, common sense, you guys. Not a lot of people have it. Shout out to Jacob Cunningham. Yeah, the Lillard circus shot that bent through the air, impossible basketball fict. And again, that's how they use the technology to make sure they ensure the outcomes. Uh, Somebody said, "Why are all the Florida teams losing in championships in 2023?" I'm trying to think what Florida teams have been in championships outside of Miami. Did they also make it in hockey? Was it hockey in Miami? That's two championships, not all of them. Again, it's important to speak accurately. When you say things that aren't true, it just makes your whole statement invalid. Florida's not hasn't been in every championship. Next. Um, Well, here for this comment again. What are truther channels? I don't watch anybody else's channels. All I've seen on YouTube are a bunch of shills and people who don't know what they're talking about. Again, you come to my channel, you notice everything adds up every day. Same lessons, same facts, proving my points, accurately forecasting. Again, who cares what other people are saying? You're talking about the same people that don't cover this work. Again, just illogical thoughts, illogical arguments. Please. Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if Jim Harbaugh is reinstated as soon as next Friday before the Maryland game. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. That was a good catch, Atachi. LeBron got his 1110th win on 11-10. Here, let's look that up real quick. LeBron James career record. Is it including the playoffs? Okay, so that's in the regular season, including playoffs. There it is, including the playoffs. LeBron won last night over the Suns. 1,110 wins on 11-10. That's great. Just day after day, the ritual after ritual. It's all synced up. Hey, let's not forget LeBron went to that Catholic school either, because that's where all this stuff goes back to. Again, I don't follow your logic with Florida being in all championships. Was Florida just in the World Series? Florida's World Series. Were the Miami Marlins there, or the Tampa Bay Rays? I don't remember them being in the World Series. Nope. Um, College football championship? Nope. That's right. Florida represented it in the Final Four. You had two Florida teams make it to the Final Four. Um, so yeah, there has been a lot of Florida teams. Here, a thought about why Florida could have been in several championships, but not all. So again, let's not speak falsely. The independent date numerology for 2023 is 20 plus 23, which is 43. That is a Florida number. Just like how, Yale's 43. And remember, the election of the 43rd president went down to Florida, where his brother, Jeb Bush, was the 43rd governor. And then Brady went to Florida at age 43. So Florida has a 43 connection, and 2023 has a 43 connection. That could be why they've been in a good number of championships this year. So. But again, they haven't been in all. So my point still stands. Speak accurately. There was a Bush on the Rangers team. I overlooked that. Hold on. I want to look him up. Matt Bush, huh? He was drafted while Bush was the president of the United States as well. That's interesting. Took him a long time to make it to the majors after being drafted. He must have been drafted out of high school and then journeyman in the minor leagues. Yeah, he's an older man too. Hmm. They had him on at age 37, like Rangers is 37. Interesting. Good one. Okay. I think Itachi's making the point here about how you guys remember when the building collapsed in Miami on June 24th? That's Freemasonry's birthday. That it was their 305th birthday. And yeah, Miami is the 305 area code. Just like how last year when Takeoff got killed, it was a big 305 ritual and it had parallels to the rapper. I got to go back. I can't think of his name right now. His name's escaping me. We covered all that last year, that how the 305 connected with the Takeoff death and the rapper Mac Dre. That's what I was trying to think of. Who was had a similar story, being shot to death in a van, and supposedly Migos survived a shootout in a van in the Miami area. So that 305 in Miami's big. Again, area codes. Area codes are so huge in sports. You just pay attention to sports in your city and your area code and just pay attention to how often the rituals come up. Over and over. Yeah, and then Messi went to Miami at age 36, and Miami equals 36. At the same time, the Heat were in the finals. Yeah, Messi has the Freemasonry birthday. That's right. By the way, Dari is in the chat. You guys follow Dari on Twitter. She's doing great decodes every day. Doing great decodes every day. Shout out to Daria. All right, but yeah, we'll keep this one short and sweet. Again, a lot of people want to know about the Harbaugh thing, and again, you guys don't be afraid to use the knowledge yourself. I mean, with the calculator. Remember, when I started this, I had to do everything by hand. I didn't have any calculators. I had to write everything out. Now you got calculators. You can get the numbers in seconds. All ciphers. Just typing it out one time. I used to have to calculate everything bit by bit. Cipher by cipher. But yeah, I mean, the knowledge isn't going to fail you. This is what they're doing every day. It's why I can get on here and decode every news story. I could be on here decoding literally every news story every single day if I wanted to. We've done that in the past. We've already proven our point. We've been here for a decade. This is what's going on. All you guys who can't wrap your mind around it, it's just because you're suffering from cognitive dissonance. You're in denial. You want to remain ignorant. You want to believe in all the lies. Again, believe, the word with lie right in the middle. And that's what we have in society. People that just want to believe the lies that they've been told their whole life. They want to trust in the authorities that have lied to them their whole life, manipulated them, enslaved them, misled them. That's the problem. You got a society that's been cultivated by the tyrants, and the tyrants got them right in their hand. Like Sunday school, we used to sing that song about how God has the whole world in their hand. The tyrants got the whole world in their hand. Raised up this society, turned them into useful idiots, got them filing into these rigged sports games every week that are just so obvious, where the refs control the game almost every week. Fans keep coming back for more, paying the overpriced tickets. It's a joke. Society's a joke. So. All right, if nobody else has any information about Harbaugh, again, if you got here late, feel free to rewind. But if nobody else has any other information, we can wrap it up. It's just the latest ritual by the numbers with the Harbaugh family. So, where can you find my books? You can type in my name and it'll pull it up. If you type in Zachary K. Hubbard, it should pull up the book. Let's see. So, again, Amazon has the published book. Unfortunately, they've raised the price a lot. You can download the books in ebook format. I made them free to download. You can also purchase them from my website. My website's GematriaEffect.news. You just go to the ebooks tab, or if you're on a cell phone, it's in the drop down menu. And again, both books right here. So a lot of content, great value for those books. All right, we'll leave it there for now, you guys. If you want to join us on Patreon, we'll be live streaming NFL later today. Again, $5 a month gets you all the written content. $11 a month gets you all the content, including all the live streams. For this weekend, you got the college football games, all the NBA, all the NFL, and possibly more. So, is that right? Yeah, it's a popular Christian song, especially for children. So, I mean, if you went to Sunday school, you probably sang that song many a times. And remember, these religions, the way they've given them to us, all encoded with all the exact same numbers of the authority. The religion, the government, the sports, the media, it's all part of our culture, and it's all from the controllers, and it's all for the sake of control, and that means keeping them in control and us on a plane where we're in the dark. We're just going along with what they put out for us to go along with. And that's got to change. That's the whole point of this channel. If everyone would wake up to what the point of this channel is, how corrupt the game is, and how we have to break this system, people come here and like, what's the point of knowing this? As they march into the football stadium, it's like, the point was for you to not do that. The point was for you to stop caring about all this rigged shit and letting it control your life and participating in it. That's the point. To break the system that must be broken, because this system is evil. It runs on lies, deception, murder, death, war. That's the system we all participate in. That's the system that, if you're not trying to break it, that you're a part of. So, again, these football leagues have always been part of it. These education systems have always been part of it. I was in the college system when 9/11 happened. I got in trouble for speaking out. And if I didn't have the mother I had, I would have dropped out of college in a way I wish I would have. I mean, my college degree did help me out a little bit when I got out, but I regret that I stayed in the system that I knew was just so corrupt and empty. I mean, that's just what everyone should do. Just abandon all these empty, corrupt systems. The education system should burn, because it's not a real education system. It's an indoctrination system. Look at all the people that go to learn how to be a doctor, and then all they come out is pill pushers, because they make more money that way. It's empty. That's not real health. It's not real medicine. Again, they spend a lot of money, and now they're part of the system, and they have all this student debt, so that even if they realize it's a lie, they just got to play the game to pay back their student debt. The whole system's slavery. The whole system's deception. Again, it all deserves to be broken. It's not helping humanity. It's not making good people. It's not making the world better. It's not solving problems. In the age of all this science and medicine and university, what's happened? There's a million more illnesses in children that science doesn't have the answer for. Can't figure out where all these things are coming from, autism and all this. All these new things, sudden infant death syndrome, respiratory problems, cancer up the wazoo. I thought the education system was here to make the world a better place. I mean, who could possibly think that's true? Education system isn't helping anything. It's turning out legions of morons, indoctrinated idiots who can't see the forest for the trees. You think the Native Americans that were here, that didn't have universities and all this crap and TV cable news to tell them what to think and believe, you think they were all dying from sudden infant death syndrome and autism and cancer and all this shit? No. No. Everything you know is a lie. And if you can't see that, it's because you're blind. I didn't need gematria to see this. I hate when people come here and like, Zach can't see anything without gematria. It's like, who are these morons? I saw through all this stuff more than a decade before I knew about gematria. Gematria is just the proof. Again, that's why all my critics are morons. No, I'm just giving you an extra layer of knowledge I learned about that proves exactly what I already knew was going on. I already knew all this shit was rigged. I already saw the ritualism of it. Oh, I'm sure the Harbaugh brothers are just going to meet in the Super Bowl. I'm sure. Oh, just one stupid storyline after the next. Oh, the Aints finally win their first Super Bowl over Archie Manning's son. I mean, these are narratives for morons. These are narratives for a society of low-level lemmings. Just like thoughtless people. Literally no power up here. No ability to connect any dots or see through any mockery. Perfect demolition on 9/11. Perfect demolition of two towers that made literally zero sense. If you have any scientific understanding, any background in physics, literally made zero sense. But somehow it became the official narrative. 9/11 Patriot Act. All of a sudden, the Patriots are the greatest football team ever. You see all the parallels with Brady and Harbaugh as well. They got all the same numbers, these two guys. Both went to Michigan. Here's what I'll say about 11/11 and Armistice Day becoming Veterans Day. Let me find my favorite author's quote. Kurt Vonnegut on Veterans Day. He hated when they changed the name to Veterans Day. Here's what Kurt Vonnegut said. I have talked to old men who were on battlefields during that minute. Because remember, they say World War I ended on 11/11 at the 11th hour. And this used to bother me when I was a kid, too. When I was a little kid, they'd teach us this in school, and I'd say, I'd question, I'd say, how did they make it so the war ended everywhere at the 11th hour? Like, was there a whistle big enough in Europe so that the whole continent could hear that the war was over? It's 11/11 at the 11th hour. Sorry, I don't know how to whistle, but I mean, it doesn't even make any sense. And it's World War I, right? One. What is 11? 11 is the rep digit of one. It's all ones. So World War I ends on 1-1-1-1 at the 1-1 hour. By the numbers. And let's look at Franz Ferdinand's license plate, by the way. 11/11/18, the exact date that the war ended, November 11th in the year 1918. But anyway, Kurt Vonnegut, who survived the Dresden mass slaughter of World War II. He was underground in a prison cell. If you guys don't know about that, your great nation that was so great because the Nazis were just the evil ones. The America and the UK wasn't evil. But if you guys don't know the truth about what America and UK did, they used napalm for the first time in warfare and killed over 100,000 people who were trying to escape the war and who'd lived in refugee camps, just like what's going on in Israel right now, which has been occupied by Britain since before it was Israel. But again, if you guys have been missing, they've been killing people in the refugee camps all over in Gaza right now. The people who are trying to stay out of the way of harm's way, they're the ones getting targeted. At the end of World War I, America and the UK killed over 100,000 people with napalm who had nothing to do with the war, people who avoided World War II by living impoverished and suffering in the refugee camps, only be murdered with napalm at the end of the by the heroes at the end of World War II. If you just sit here and watch all this bullshit they give us. That's the other thing about blind people in this nation. It's obvious that America is the most evil nation on earth right now. There's no nation that has more blood on its hands. There's no nation that's killing more people, lying to its people more. There's no bigger instigator in the world than America. But some people here think it's a great country. It's like you got to be an evil person to think America's you got to be a blind and evil person. And these words might really hurt people, but they're true. And Kurt Vonnegut, who was an American, has spoken out about how evil this nation, he's dead now, but he spoke out for about 50 years about how evil and bankrupt and empty and backwards this nation is. That's why Kurt Vonnegut's my favorite author. But hold on, let me say this the right quote. I've talked to old men who were on battlefields during that minute. They have told me in one way or another that the sudden silence was the voice of God. So we still have among us men who can remember when God spoke clearly to mankind. Armistice Day has become Veterans Day. Okay, it cut off the rest of the quote, but he goes into how Armistice Day was about peace, and that's why it was better when this day was called Armistice Day, because it was about not war. And then he said when you turn it to Veterans Day, now it's more about militarism. It's more about celebrating the soldier. And Kurt Vonnegut, he wrote a lot of books. If you don't know Kurt Vonnegut, funny guy. He tried to inject humor into everything he did. He tried to make it science fiction, but talk about the reality of this world at the same time. And he thought it was a tragedy that they changed it from Armistice Day to Veterans Day. He said you defeated the entire meaning of the day. Now it's not about peace. Now it's just about soldiers. And again, I mean, here in America, we have a volunteer army right now for the time being. And it's sad that anybody would ever volunteer to be in this military. The only reason they'd ever do that is because they sold their soul, or because they're so ignorant, or because they're so desperate. And again, you have a lot of people in all those circumstances in the U.S. But yeah, it's no excuse. If you signed up for the U.S. military, you're a bad person. You are a bad person if you ever join the U.S. military. It makes you a bad human being. The U.S. military is evil. It does not do anything to bring about peace or justice in the world. It is a mercenary force for the New World Order, and it will kill every government that's not on board with the tyranny of America. That's what it's been doing for a long time. So, look into all the assassinations they did in South America, and all the leaders that America's government killed because they weren't on board with American crony capitalism. Freedom. Freedom. Got to be dumb to think you're ever free in America. So it goes. There's somebody who knows about Vonnegut. That was one of his favorite lines. He'd always write, so it goes. For the person who writes, no one is worse for humanity than me, you must be a very backwards human being. I'm someone who's brought a lot of light into this world, a lot of truth, revealed how sick the game is, proven my points. The only people who ever say I'm bad are actually evil people. Evil people think I'm bad. Backwards people think I'm bad. Shout out to Nathan. Yeah, something's funny about that Vonnegut cup you sent me. It's small. So Sweet Lady loves it because when she drinks tea, she likes a little bit of liquid in there, and that cup's just perfect. So I got to be honest. Whoops, what'd I do? Sweet Lady, she uses the Vonnegut mug you sent us, and I do appreciate that. Yeah. Again, for the person that anyone who comes to my chat and talks shit, you guys are just scumbags. You guys are like literally human pieces of shit. Again, what are you hating on? What are you hating on? A decade of being correct? A decade of proving my point about things people need to wake up to? I'll tell you who the bad people are today. The bad people who file into the football stadiums to give money to these leagues that kill the players, college, pro, day after day, season after season, ritual sacrifice after ritual sacrifice. How many weird stories have we covered about deaths of college athletes perfectly synced with championships over the year? How many futures have we called off sports championships from dead college athletes? A lot. Football season starts. Football player supposedly just jumps out the window and commits suicide day before the game, I'm sure. Next thing you know, his team's having a big upset the next day. Nobody questioning anything. Just going along with what the talking heads in the suits say. Because they're under severe mind control. Again, the name Jake that was just brought up. I mean, is this anybody I need to debate? Like, what's the debate? The guy's a moron. He eats raw meat and bangs on his chest and literally calls people the N-word. It's just like he's a psychopath. And what's the argument? A guy that came on YouTube and claimed the Earth was flat and now says the Earth isn't flat. So his whole claim to fame now he goes against, and he denounces my work. Nobody can denounce my work. My work speaks for itself every day. My resume speaks for itself every day. People can deny, ignore, and try and slander. The guy with the dreads that speaks against weed all the time. Hey, buddy, the Rost is called. They want their hair back. They don't want some loser, poser clown with dreads who spends all his time online speaking against weed. Maybe you should smoke some weed. You might not be so close-minded. You might wake up to the truth. But like that moron's on his channel this morning talking shit. He's like, Zach's only called 2 things in the 10 years he's been here. It's like, I've only called 2 things? Just in the last month, we've called more than 2 things correctly. October 4th, I said, why do you expect something like 9/11 and a terrorist attack on October 7th, which was correct. The new 9/11 in Israel, we called that 3 days before. We had another World Series correct. We had Rangers on day 1 of... And yes, we did cover a few other spaces over the year, but we knew the Rangers narrative was super strong. So, again, Rangers paid 50-1. Congrats to us. Got that on day 1 of the MLB season. Also just the Israel war starting 2 days before Yale's 322nd birthday. Don't forget, you guys, Yale turned 322 years old this month, October 9th, just like how we're talking about the 322 here, and how His team's supposed to play Maryland, where his brother coaches on the 322nd day of the year. And again, American football goes back to Walter Camp, a Yale Skull and Bones 3-2-2. But yeah, I did put out the video last December about how to expect major war with Israel this year. And I suggested around the time Yale turns 322 years old. The war started 2 days before Yale's 322nd birthday. So, like some moron to be saying that in 10 years I've only called 2 things right. I mean, what a disingenuous comment. We can't even count the number of things that I've called. It's like an incredibly high number. College, pro, news, sports, mass shootings, murders, celebrity deaths. Don't need to call another thing in my lifetime. Again, no, I always say to my critics, tell me anybody who's accurately predicted more things. Let me know who that person is. I don't know of anyone who's accurately forecast more things. I don't know of anyone who broke a code like this. I don't know of anybody who's connected this many dots. I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone in the history of the truth community who's accomplished what we've accomplished. And that's facts. Show me who has a better resume. Is it Jordan Maxwell because Jordan Maxwell connected the Lincoln and Kennedy thing? I mean, that was inspiration for me once upon a time, but that's like Jordan Maxwell's claim to fame. He said the Catholic Church is at the center of it all. I agree with him. He said, he made the point about water and money, currency, liquidity. Because again, what's essential in this world to survive? Water. The controllers wanted to create something essential to survive that they controlled. Money. That's why it has all the parallels with water. So, I mean, Jordan Maxwell did great work, but Jordan Maxwell also said that he doesn't know how to wake people up in the things they care about, the entertainment world. Well, I tried to get Jordan Maxwell before he died to do an interview so we could talk about gematria and how it connects sports and politics and all these things. He didn't want to do that interview. Said he wanted to, do interviews with people. Just, I don't know. So anyway, for anyone who'd ever say that Jordan Maxwell's work's better, I'd say how? We did what he couldn't do and in a lot better fashion. Taught a real set of knowledge that anyone can use to see through what's going on every day. Bill Cooper, obviously did good work, but I don't know anything that Bill Cooper did that's as helpful as what we're putting out. So. Yeah, like banks. Yeah, you're right. Money, banks, water settles in the bank. Yeah. So yeah, again, other people did great work. My work's based on things that came before me, but I don't know anybody else who's connected more dots and laid out a more important set of knowledge and how it's being used every day. I mean, we've literally proven how rigged the game is. The politics, the sports, the news, how it's all connected, who's doing it. I mean, that's the thing too. We proved who's doing it. Maxwell would always say it was the Catholic Church, but he didn't have like the greatest proof for how it was them. What we show you every day, you can see how it's all connected. The church. Here, just to make a point about, I didn't mean to cover this earlier. You see how the word Catholic is 71 and 145 and also 46 like Michigan? Again, Harbaugh shook hands with the Pope. The very next day, Jake Dickbutt, think about it, the Catholic Church, sodomy, tight end, Jake Butt. Jake Butt was supposed to go in the first round of the draft. Instead, he fell to the 145th pick of the draft. Catholic 145. 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament. 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. It's encoded in the language. The first Catholic president was JFK, number 35, killed at age 46. Israel, which is a Catholic-run nation, as we've always proven. The whole war just jumped off on Putin's 71st birthday, 71 days before the Pope's birthday. Again, this system, how it's used every day. But Jake Butt fell to the 145th pick of the Denver Broncos, which also equals 71. See? The day after Harbaugh shaking hands with the Pope. And then what day did Jake Butt's career end? Well, it ended on the Jesuit order recognition date, September 27th. His NFL career was ended that day with his injury. Was it a real injury, or was it just the time for, the ritual to end? He got into the NFL. He gets his name in the book. He gets paid a decent contract, and then he's out of here. All in one big, sick Catholic joke. One big Catholic Jesuit joke. And if I wanted to go back to the day of the Jake Butt, I remember they were also doing the trade with the 49er to the Panthers, paying tribute to the Black Panthers. Trying to remember the guy's name. They had the picture of him next to Kaepernick. Again, if you guys don't know, the Black Panthers, all their original meetings were in Catholic churches in the Bay Area, which is how we called Super Bowl 50 in October, why the Broncos would beat the Panthers, and why Von Miller, number 58, would be the MVP. Because again, Cam Newton became the 58th quarterback to start in the Super Bowl, and Huey P. Newton founded the Black Panther Party in the Bay Area, where that Super Bowl was. Von Miller drafted one pick after Cam Newton wore number 58. Again, I mean, before we did that, now we've done a whole bunch more, but back then when we did that in Super Bowl 50, had anybody ever seen a prediction that specific and why and based on history and how all these things come together? And we've done it a million more times since. And you still got all these losers just trying to come out of the woodwork. Next loser selected to come up and just come with all the same bullshit talking points and try to denounce what we're accomplishing. All these pretenders in the community. You know, if you guys saw the stream I did yesterday, little Weasel Will came on, Lil Willie, and then just tried to downplay everything. Lil Willie says, like, oh, I'm trying to expose the Federal Reserve and Illuminati, but then downplays the relevance of our work. Did the Federal Reserve not just put out its digital currency thing? Did it not just launch on the 201st day of the year? Right after they killed Bob Lee in a 201 ritual, who has essentially invented digital currency? Did we not lay all this stuff out way before FedNow released on the 201st day of the year? Again, the stuff that I'm teaching, it just lines up day after day after day after day. And that's how you can see somebody like him as a pretender. Don't be talking about like you're trying to expose the Federal Reserve and Illuminati and then downplay my work. You're a moron. You're a moron. Nobody ever connected more dots with the Illuminati and showed how they actually operate and who they are. Not even close. Again, about the Gematriator website, how Derek added all the ads. You got the same calculator at my website. It's not as colorful. If you go to my website, GematriaEffectNews, and just click the calculator tab or on the drop-down menu, it's all right here. Again, you can download the calculators for free for your phone. Apple and Android are supported. Totally free. And again, you got the same base ciphers and the settings. You got the again, Derek's created so many different ciphers. It's ridiculous. I have a shorter list of ciphers on here because these are ciphers that are definitely relevant outside of the base ciphers. But and again, here, just same thing. Works the same way. Same values. Just the other day, Matt Ulrich dies, right? Matt Ulrich dies. He died 95 days before the Super Bowl. He played for the Colts and won Super Bowl 41 with the Colts. He died at age 41. Baltimore equals 41. Again, the Colts are originally from Baltimore. So he's dead 95 days before the Super Bowl. That's on the Vatican's 95th birthday. Dead at 41 when he won Super Bowl 41 with the Colts. Baltimore is 148 in reverse. Dead 148 days after Jim Irsay's birthday, his old boss, the owner of the Colts. And then Baltimore is also 58, like the Super Bowl number. And, you know, then the very next day was Thursday Night Football, and Frank Reich, who used to coach the Colts, fell to 41-41 in his NFL career, losing in the 35 Thursday ritual to Chicago. And again, Chicago equals 35. We'd like Chicago to win the game 35 days after their last win on Thursday Night Football, the day Dick Butkus died. And again, DJ Moore went from Carolina to Chicago exactly 35 weeks before the game. So 35 Thursday, another 35 ritual. The thing about 35 Thursday, it extends beyond the NFL. It extends into other sports. It extends into news stories. Sadly, it extends into death rituals sometimes on Thursday in the news. But yeah, all these things that we've taught the world. Real knowledge, real verifiable, and really proves something. How evil something is that's going on, that so many people are invested in. Truth does not exist. I haven't used your calculator yet. I still need to check it out. It's just you keep bringing up the idea of a calculator, and I've always told you could do it, but it's just like at the same time, I don't really know what the point is. I mean, we got calculators for what we do. So another calculator wasn't anything we asked for, but thank you. So see this person's question right here. It's just like, Uncle Baron, it's not the right. It's not like your phrasing isn't right. That you phrased it so you're telling me that the NFL is partnered with the Black Panthers. Like, why is that the way you just put it together? No, what I'm telling you is the Jesuits and Catholic Church run this world. They created the Black Panthers. They created the Black Panthers. They created the NFL. They created the NBA. They created all these because they want to control society. They know how to control society. They know how to create groups that create division, keep people fighting amongst themselves. Again, if you've got all the masses and peons fighting with each other, you're never gonna overcome the cabal that's ruling over you. They know how to pacify people. They know how to divide people. So no, I'm not saying the Black Panthers are partnered with the NFL. It's like an illogical thought. I'm saying they're paying tribute through the NFL, which they control, to the things they've done in the past, like the Black Panthers. See, you guys, not to sound arrogant, here's Itachi. Itachi says, yeah, that's sheep logic. And the thing is, Itachi's a smart guy. He went to NYU, right? I resonate with intelligent people. And that's a frustrating thing about this nation. There's not a lot of intelligent people. There's a lot of morons in this nation. There's a lot of really dumb people. There's a lot of really low intelligence people who don't get enough sleep and have a shit diet. And again, I mean, I don't. It might sound arrogant, but it's just the way it is. I hate this society, you guys. It's annoying being an intelligent person in a society that worships mediocrity and being dumb. I mean, how many of you grew up and it was like cool to be dumb, or it was cool to make fun of intelligent people, or put down intelligent people for being intelligent? That's the society we've all grown up and lived in. A nation of lemmings and morons who celebrate being lemmings and morons. Low intellect. There's actually a short movie already on Gematria on YouTube. If you look it up, it's like a 30-minute short film, but it's about how a guy goes crazy over the knowledge. And that's what they want to put out there because they want to deter people from looking into things. And you do see that some people aren't meant to have the knowledge. Like the caller I had the other week to TFR, just talking a whole bunch of nonsense and just begging to stay on the phone and just so paranoid about his own life. And I kept saying to him, I was like, this isn't the way to use it. I think you're worried about the wrong things. It's not meant for everybody. It's like the sword and the stone. Only certain people are meant to wield it. Yeah, and here, let's make a point about this too. When I was coming up in the public school system, and it might be the same for you guys. Again, I was in school in the 80s and 90s. Well, I graduated from high school in 2001, so I was there at the beginning of the 2000s as well. But through all those years, it would be a point that would come up again and again about how lucky we were to be in America, because had we been born in China, we'd be going to school all year and we'd be going to school longer each day. And as kids, we looked at it like, man, I'm glad I don't got to do that. I love summer break, man. I love playing with my friends in the summer. But you see, the reality is now we see what it is, right? You go to all the best paying jobs in America right now. Who's there? Bunch of Asians. Big tech is very Asian. All the highest paying jobs, like you hardly have any Americans working there because they're not smart enough to work there. You go to a lot of these Ivy League campuses, you don't see a lot of white people there. You see a lot of foreigners there. Because we got a lesser education, we're also a lesser people for it. And I mean, you look at Asians, like they're sharp in math. Math is everything, you guys. Math is the subject. Math is the number one subject. Almost everything comes back to math. Engineering, everything that's critical to infrastructure is math. In America, most people are very bad at math. They had poor teachers. And again, math is logic too. And you have a lot of illogical people. You have a lot of people that can't calculate. They can't make any important life decisions. They don't know how to save. They don't know what the right deal is. They get taken advantage of by the banks. Again, all this is by design. They raised a nation of dummies here. America's a nation of really dumb people that think they're smart. It's just like all my critics who come at me. They think they're smart, but they don't realize how dumb they are. They're just typical Americans. America is a very low-level functioning nation. Really dumb people by the dozens. And again, it's why at the top universities, the top jobs, you don't see many Americans there. And they told us what was going on when we were kids. We just didn't get it. You know? What's untrue? Well, what am I saying that's untrue? Well, if what I'm saying is untrue, come up to Seattle and tell me what it looks like. Looks like little India. You got Indians everywhere and Asians, some Russians. You got like a few Americans out of tens of thousands of people working at these big tech companies. And it's the same scene. I was just down at the YouTube campus. A bus drops off the employees there in the morning. And not only are the employees there not American, all the security guards they have working there are not American. I'm like, God, this place is like totally not American. There's no American security guards. There's no Americans working here. No wonder they hate the First Amendment. No, you're wrong. America is dumb. Mr. Fox, Americans are dumb people. I mean, where's your argument that they're not dumb? If they were intelligent, would they have fallen for 9/11? Talk to most international people about 9/11. They know it's a load of shit. They know it doesn't make any sense. They don't have any, they're not caught up in it at all. They have enough intelligence to see through it. Talk to the average American about 9/11. They believe the whole bullshit story that literally makes no sense. It's scientifically impossible. You got to be so dumb to think a man was living in a cave who executed it. I mean, you just got to be a moron. You got to be a moron. None of this stuff that's COVID. I mean, you had to be a moron. The nightly news showed you the symptoms of COVID. They were the symptoms of cold and flu. They're giving you the symptoms of cold and flu and telling you to fear for your life. I was like, oh, so where should I be so afraid for? I might get the headaches and the chills and a sore throat and flu-like symptoms. And then you look it up. It's like, oh, God, coronavirus was coined as flu in 1968. Go figure. I remember when we saw that for the first time, I thought, doesn't that make so much sense? Everything in 1968. Again, all this stuff that's done to us, you're just going to be dumb. You know? Somebody tell me how Americans aren't dumb people overwhelmingly. I mean, where's the proof that this nation isn't moronic? A nation that has look at the presidents we're having, you guys. You don't think it's symbolic? You don't think it's a mockery of how dumb the nation is? Right now, we have an old man who plays a senile character who looks like he's going to blow away in the wind. You don't think that's symbolic and mockery for the morons? Think about the people who come here. A year in advance, we said why Biden would be number 46 in the election 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. People can't even understand it. They're like, I don't get it. It sounds like bullshit to me. Who cares? Kennedy got killed at 46. And there's 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. Gematria equals 46. Who cares? These are the responses of dumb people. But look at our presidents. Joe Biden. Before that, Donald Trump, The Apprentice. I mean, talk about embarrassing. And people worship this man. Do you know how dumb of a society you have to have anybody worship Trump? I mean, these are really dumb people that worship Trump. You got to be a fucking loser. A major fucking loser. And there's a lot of them in America. Same ones filing in the football stadiums this weekend. Fucking retards. Donald Trump is a sick moron. Like a used car salesman. A guy born with a silver spoon in his mouth who really hasn't accomplished anything. How many bankruptcies did he have to file? Man, you were given $1 million out of high school in the 60s? You know what $1 million is today when you were given that in 1963? Trump says that. He's like, I'm not that much different. My dad only gave me $1 million in 1963. $1 million in 1963 is like, well, somebody do the calculation on it. It's a way bigger sum today. You know, $1 million went way further in 1963. But he got that, and he still had to file all these bankruptcies. This guy's a fucking loser. God, what a joke. Who was the president before that? Oh, yeah, the token black guy. And I don't say that as some derogatory. I just say that's who he was, the token black guy. African-American equals 44, elected 44 years after the Civil Rights Act. Goes in there with Joe Biden, it equals 44. Now Joe Biden's taking Obama and Kamala, these one-term senators, to the Oval Office. Just jokes for days. Obama. Again, who voted for Obama? Really dumb people. The only people who voted for Obama, really dumb people. Obama showed you what a fraud he was. He should have had 0 votes. He should have had 0 votes based on what he showed you on the campaign trail. Again, people don't even know because people aren't even paying attention. I was public enemy #1 in Seattle for speaking out against Obama all the time. People hated my guts. But I was right. I said, this guy, you guys think he's going to be some great savior? This guy's a total fraud. This guy just campaigned for 6 months on how we cannot vote for immunity for the telecommunication companies that violated our constitutional rights. He kept saying, I'm a constitutional lawyer. They violated the Constitution. We cannot vote for this. Well, after all that campaigning, what did he do when it came time to vote? He voted for immunity for the telecom companies. To vote for somebody like that, you got to be a fucking loser. Okay? You're a major fucking loser. And see, I know that this will hurt people because people are here who voted for Obama, but I don't care. You guys are the reason this nation's fucked. This population of morons is the reason we're so fucked. Okay? You voted for a guy who for 6 months campaigned on something and then voted the exact opposite. That shows you he's a fraud. And that was a major fucking thing because it allowed these companies that have been collecting all of our data and information and going beyond the scope of the Patriot Act to get away with it. So then you saw what we really lived in. This totally fascist police surveillance state where now they're immune from prosecution because that's what passed. And by the way, how did Hillary vote in that? Well, she didn't vote. She just abstained. She didn't even want to have a vote, yes or no. Showing you, again, you got to be a major fraud to get on that level to even be in the presidential conversation. Only the biggest frauds are even allowed in the conversation. So all these people who go out there and vote for these major frauds, it makes you part of the major fraud. And that's why I've never voted in my lifetime as a responsible human being, because I saw what a joke it was when I was 17 and not even legally able to vote. It was 2000 when I was 17. And who was running for president? Oh, the son of the last Republican president. And all the newspapers said for 3 months before the election, it was going to come down to Florida, where his brother was the 43rd governor as he becomes the 43rd president. So again, you guys, this is my early days of where I started to realize there was something real big with numbers. I was like, wait a minute, that's too many 43s. And his dad was the 43rd vice president. And now 9/11, a national emergency on 911. I just knew it in my youth that when Bush became president, I knew more war was coming because his dad was all about the wars in the Middle East. It was just so obvious. And then sure enough, it just all happens. All happens. So obvious, so ritualistic. And again, the things I could see as a teenager, you got grown adults that still can't see. It's because these people are fucking retarded. And I started to realize that people were fucking retards when I was a kid. Okay? That's also the reality. I started to realize my teachers weren't very smart. You know, I realized they couldn't answer simple questions, things I wanted to know about that I thought they should know as adults. They didn't know, and I just thought, who am I learning from? Why am I even in this room? These other kids in here, they're dumb as hell. You know, it's sad to say that I always realized that about most of my peers, that they were dumb. And it's not untrue what I'm saying. It's facts. I mean, sadly, I was more gifted intellectually, physically, on the sports field, in the classroom, in the testing room. And I never felt that I was so great. It just, I felt like everybody else was just so low. Like, what's wrong with them? What's wrong with these people? Like, you can't do that? You can't understand that? It's not like I'm thinking I'm some rocket scientist. I'm just like, what the fuck's wrong with everybody else? Nation of morons. Right here. This person's 46 and has never voted. Exactly. Because when you vote for these people, then you validated them. You validated a fraud because you weren't smart enough to see through it. And that's what it is every time. This was going to be every other time too, until this system's overthrown. You live in a corrupt system that's based on lies. That's what the whole system's based on. Lies. Like everything you learn in the state school is a lie. The whole history's fake. Everything is a lie to indoctrinate you so that you go along with the continued series of lies. Then you become a truth teller and everyone says you're crazy. And that's what I realized too. I was like, wow, everybody thinks I'm crazy for questioning 9/11. Well, I'm right back to where I've been thinking. What the fuck's wrong with everybody? Why is everyone so fucking dumb? And you guys, again, just program society, coming back to sports, since that's where we started. You know, how many times have you just heard like sports fans just make totally illogical arguments? I hear the same ones all the time. You mean to tell me these guys who trained their whole life to be in the league are going to participate in ring sports? It's like, yeah, they trained their whole life and they made it to the stage. Now they have contracts at 10 million a year, 20 million a year, 30 million a year. If they're a bum in the league, they still make about a million a year. How many people in America actually have the integrity? Let's say you trained your whole life and didn't realize the NFL was rigged, but you got good enough and got drafted in the league. Well, now you're there and you're making $1 million a year. You're on the low end of the spectrum and you're realizing it's all bullshit. Are you going to go out and speak out against it and then not have a job and probably have to work like a grocery clerk? Like, how many times have they made that point that these guys were in the league? They'd probably be working at a grocery clerk like Kurt Warner. So what? They're going to go give up $1 million a year to make 30,000. So they got to work 40 years to make 1 year's salary. I mean, again, you guys can't do math. That's why you have these illogical arguments. You just got these stupid thoughts that don't make any sense. Most people don't have any integrity. Most people sell out for the dollar. Most people, all they care about are dollars. All that justifies their behavior is how many dollars they get. So why are you expecting that for athletes it would be anything different? Again, it's because you're not logical. It's because you're not thinking. It's because you can't even see your own self or your reflection. When you're watching me, you're looking at somebody different. I'm somebody who made 6 figures out of college and quit my job to work in a group home for $10 an hour because I didn't like what I was doing in the sector I was in. It just felt corrupt and scummy, and I felt like I was a part of something making the world a worse place. Then when I worked at the group home for $10 an hour, I felt like I was trying to bring sunshine into children's lives that were severely fucked up, and at least I felt good about what I was doing. And then I went back to school and earned my teaching credentials and then chose to teach in the poorest section of Seattle. I wanted to do things to help people because I realized life should be about more than money. Money's the thing that they lure everybody in to participate in the bullshit. Money's the thing they use to keep everybody's lips zipped so that the system just moves on. All the people that go and do their job that they know is wrong, but they do it because it's their salary. Again, the people that don't understand this are just people who have no idea about anything, obviously. When you come here with, oh, why would the athlete train his whole life and then go along with rigged games? I mean, are you actually thinking about that? So what? Here, let's look at Patrick Mahomes' salary real quick. You know, why would he speak out about the rigging? He gets to be the hero. He gets to make this much money a year. Let's see what he's on right now. He's not even the highest paid player in the league. Mahomes is due to make $56.85 million this season. How's your slave wage add up? You probably make $40,000 a year, maybe. Maybe you make $50,000 a year. 50,000 times 20 is $1 million. So you got to work. What is that? 50,000 times 20 is $1 million. So 50 times 20 is 1,000. 6 times. So you got to work over 1,000 years to make as much as he makes in 1 year right now. And realize the reason that these leagues can afford to pay these players like this is because they're taxing the hell out of the fans, but also because we live in this corrupt system. The money's all bullshit. There's nothing in the vaults. It's they print the money and give it to who they want to give it to, and then they keep everybody else fighting over nothing. The whole system's fake. The whole system is based on lies and bullshit. I love comments like this. Zach, come to Jesus. Again, here's just somebody under a spell. In Gematria, Jesus equals occult, equals Masonic, equals killing, equals stabbing, equals Roman, equals Messiah, equals gospel, equals parables, equals cross, equals the same number they put on all these evil satanic rituals. How about learn his name? That's not his name. You're repeating the false name that has the same gematria as Lucifer. And most Christians are of something demonic and evil. It's why they're not good people. It's why they have shit values and shit beliefs. And they think all they have to do is believe in some dumb story and they can be as corruptive an individual as possible. Come to something greater. Get on a real spiritual wavelength. Do something great for the world. You know, give up materialism and wealth to actually be a service. I live like the person you call Jesus or Yeshua. I live like that. I embrace that. I've been that person. Who are you? Some clown in my comment section leaving ignorant comments because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about? You don't even know what Jesus is. If you knew what Jesus was, you wouldn't leave that comment for me. Again, all these fake spiritual people. They think because they know the name Jesus and they believe in it and they don't have anything else going for them in their life, they think they're something. You're not. You're a fraud. Well, some people don't know the track record because all they've ever listened to are the trolls and the haters. See, and this is just like weirdo stuff right here. So you're going to write, come to Jesus, and then you're going to say, I'm a Muslim now, come to Allah. Again, you're a troll. And RIP Muhammad Ali. Let's not forget who called his death in 2016, 4 years before it happened, or about 3 years before it happened. One of my first predictions why Muhammad Ali would die at age 74. And again, through my work, you can understand why he died the day he died. He died June 3rd in 2016. The Prophet Muhammad died at age 63. At least it's the most common belief for his age of death. And 2016 is the 63rd triangular number. That's why they do Muhammad. And remember, it's the Jesuits who renamed him Muhammad Ali. They had to put the 201 on him, like the 201 men in the Tuskegee group. And Muhammad Ali is seen as this controversial, divisive figure. Look at all the numbers they put on him. They put a 42 on him. Ali alone's got the slave code, the 59. No, we're not promoting come to any religion over here. Religion's not the answer. Religion's the problem. Spirituality is true. But again, spirituality, just you get into all these terms, it's just like it's not specific enough. The only thing that people really need to do in this world when it comes to spirituality is abide by the golden rule. Do believe that there is something greater in this world than yourself in this physical world. I think it is important to believe that. It's not a guarantee, but I think it's an important concept as a human. If you have the mindset that this is a spiritual world and your purpose here is not just to pleasure yourself and do everything just to serve you, but to do something for the actual world, to make the world better than it was in some way. That should be your contribution, to help people out. That's what I've made my adult life about. That's why I always get annoyed when all these just like fake spiritual people come at me and they're like, oh, you're nothing because you don't believe in Jesus. And then you're like, so what do you do besides believe in Jesus? Oh, you've never done anything. You've never done anything for anyone but yourself and believing in Jesus. Nice. Yeah. That's called a false spirituality. That's called emptiness. That's called you're under some kind of mind control. Here, again, for all the haters, for every hater of mine who judges me, here's what I want to see you do. This is what you got to do. You got to quit your job. You got to quit your job. You got to work for 5 years straight every single day and make no money from it. You got to do that because I did that. And I don't think you can name anyone else in the world who ever did that. But I was here every day for over 5 years, every single day, putting out knowledge, helping people. And I did help a lot of people make a lot of money, mostly off of sports, but all for free. And I didn't get anything back. All I got was my house crashed into on Christmas Eve, my house robbed, police at my house, arrested in my front yard, FBI coming over. Remember, FBI coming over was the final straw for Sweet Lady. She couldn't take it anymore. She said, Jack, you got to do something. Quit or do something to make somehow this positive because nothing positive is coming to you. You're just getting destroyed. So that for the first time ever, we said, you know what? We'll monetize the sports. I'll charge a measly $5 a month, and you'll get 1,000 hours of my labor pretty much for $5. And that's what it's been. So, again, for all the haters, let's see it. 5 years of work every single day for nothing, for the betterment of humanity. That's what I did it for, to get out knowledge to change the world. And it should have happened. It would have happened if society wasn't inept. That's why I'm going to continue to rant about how dumb people are. The reason that this work hasn't done what it should have done is because people are dumb. It's not my fault. It's not my fault that society of inept losers who don't care about anything that matters and all they're worried about is the sports game. Like I've said, we just had our rights and liberties trampled on with the pandemic, which we saw coming a mile away. We knew 2020 was the year of the next major New World Order plan because we know about the 19-year cycle because we know the code. But you had hardly anybody outraged about what took place in that period of time. Man, I guarantee you every Saturday, every Sunday, you have more Americans that are way more angry and outraged and ranting and screaming because their team didn't win, because a ref threw a bullshit flag. That's where this society is. It is George Orwell's 1984. All it took to fill up the horizons of their mind was gambling, sports, and beer. And again, you guys, people blame me because people care so much about the sports work over here. Well, the reason people care so much about the sports work is because that's their indoctrination. But there's also the other side of it where a lot of people who've said, well, Zach, I came into this from sports, but you woke me up to other things. And I'm grateful for that. So we're trying to wake people up where they're at. This work wasn't ever supposed to become about gambling and sports, but that's where society is. All right, just reading the chat, but yeah, again, just for one more thing for all the haters and frauds out there, like for the guy with the dreads who doesn't smoke weed and who rants against how bad weed is, but has never smoked weed in his life. Why do you have dreads? Like seriously, the Rastas want their hair back. And why do you go on it? You made a stream last night that didn't show up for, and good thing because you knew you had nothing to say. Why make a stream this morning and just get on there and regurgitate all the lies? I mean, it just shows you what a fucking pussy you are. You're a fraud. You know you're a fraud. You know what this idiot was on talking about this morning? That same guy who's been shitting on Rambo for a long time, saying Rambo had effeminate energy and Rambo was boring and Rambo was caught up in the liberal energy and he was weak. This guy's been talking all this shit about Rambo for 6 months, and then this morning he's all on there on Rambo's nuts and how Rambo's the good guy and how I ran away Rambo. It's just like, I mean, look how this guy's so fucking fake. You are a fake human being. You'll just say whatever. You don't mean anything you say. People like you are what's wrong with the world. In his same stream, he was talking about how spiritual he is and how I'm not. You're not spiritual. You're a fraudulent human being. You'll get on and lie to save your own ass. You don't ever see me getting on here and lying. I'll defend myself. I might sound arrogant to people, but I don't care. I know what I'm saying is true. I know I live in a society of morons. If you can't see that, it's probably because you're a moron. I'm sorry. I'm not going to say that I don't live in a society of morons, because I do. I live in a society full of very dumb people. I'm fed up. I've been fed up. How do you think I got on here and ranted and taught for 5 years for no money? Because I'm just so fed up with the whole system. I wish we could go back to the days where we didn't make any money. I actually felt better about myself back then because I wasn't having to pay taxes. Again, I've had auditors out here and all this shit now. I don't like having to participate in the system. And admittedly, I'm now more back in the system than I was when I first started the work. That's the biggest problem around here. But again, I always own up about things that I'm not happy about and the things that are wrong. But yeah, I just get tired of all these liars and just weirdos around me and just people just say anything no matter how false it is. I mean, what a loser to get on and say, all Zach's ever called is 2 Super Bowls. I mean, just moron. Super Bowl 50, 52, 53, 54, 55. And did I not put out the video for everybody? August 24th, 2022, about how you better have your future in for the Chiefs when Len Dawson died by the code on Kobe Bryant Day from Philly. I mean, come on, man. And that's just Super Bowls. God. That's the thing that hurts about trying to be of service to a world of ungrateful pieces of shit. It's like you'll question yourself. You're like, why am I even trying to help out these scumbags? These people fucking suck. Like, they don't deserve shit. They deserve what's on the Georgia Guidestones. People get mad that I say that, but I mean that too. What's written on those Georgia Guidestones, it's well-deserved. Most people just deserve to be just gone. You don't need to be here. You weren't ever about anything that was righteous or right. You were a fraud of a human being. You were a liar. You were down with evil. All you did was, be a bot in this system, a little gear and a mechanism in a evil Orwellian New World Order machine. You were just a little consumer bot for them. All you ever did was spend money on their bullshit because you wanted to keep up with the Joneses. Again, they got people that are all about the wrong things. Almost everybody in America, all they care about is materialism and status and self-pleasure. That's almost it. It's hard to find any other values that anyone is about. I mean, who's about service? Almost nobody. Who's about knowledge? Almost nobody. Who's about entertainment? Being entertained? Almost everybody. I think as humans we are supposed to have some fun with it. Yeah, and again, the best is when you can combine the entertainment and the knowledge, which we do try to do here sometimes, and sometimes we do better than others. But yeah, America's a bankrupt place, morally, spiritually, intellectually. It's bad news here, you guys. That's why the society's fallen the way it is. Rumham said, if we all play Bob Marley at the same time, would it save the world? We will never know. Yeah, Bob Marley, man. And that's the thing, too. They stereotype Bob Marley. Oh, that's just stupid stoner music. Bob Marley was singing about all the right things, putting it in a way that was digestible, understandable. Bob Marley made some of the dopest music there ever was. It's not stoner music. And by the way, for the fake guy, drives around in his cars, the Rastas do want their hair back. There shouldn't be some poser loser dude with dreads who spends all of his time talking about how bad weed is. You're an ignorant man. Weed's not bad. You're a bad human being. You're a fraudulent human being. You probably are a Fed, just like somebody said you were. There was a reason they took me aside and warned me and said they knew you were a Fed. You're a piece of shit, dude. You are a piece of shit human being, and you hang out with pieces of shit. I know he's watching right now. Why you got dreads and hate on weed? I mean, how whack is that? The Rastas want their hair back, poser. And he's not hooded at all. He talks like he's hooded. Trust me, you guys, he was out in Buffalo and he got scared. He got scared in Buffalo. A dude came up and threatened us. He said we were going to get shot if we didn't get out of the hood. And I just tried to tell him out. I was like, dude, you're coming at the wrong people. I said, we're not here like that. We're here to bring education about why this thing just went down at the Buffalo Tops and how it is real racism and who's doing it. And the people who came up and said that and were threatening, they were just fronting and they didn't do nothing. And again, yeah, right, went and got in his car and was like, Zach, we got to get out of here. And he just hid out in his car in the parking lot. I stayed out there talking to people. So, yeah, right. Yeah, right. And what kind of stupid name is that anyway? Yeah, right, The Matrix? What the fuck's that name mean? Illogical as everything else that comes out of your mouth. But, yeah, a guy, again, pussy. He was so scared. He had to go get in his car and just begging me to get out of there. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. And the funny thing is see, the thing I don't like about that guy is he said if I drove out there, he said he'd meet me in Chicago and drive all the way. He didn't. And then when we showed up in Buffalo, he said he'd be out there at like 9 a.m. when we were out there. He shows up at like 3 in the afternoon. We get threatened at like 4, and he's scared and wants to get out of there an hour later. It's like, why even show up? Go back to your home. Yeah, Rob was there. He knows it's true. And then I called him out on that stream. He's like, that's not true. It's not true. It's all you do is lie. Yeah, it is true. You went and hid in your car and you were scared as hell. You're a pussy. For my guy who said, so weed is good. Well, if you don't know about the Rastas think cannabis connects you with Creator. And like all things are good and bad. I can make an argument about what's bad about weed. I mean, you can see like his running mate, Will, you know, he smokes too much weed. You can see he's absent-minded, illogical. I mean, there's people who smoke too much and they're lazy. But there's also people who don't abuse the plant and get creative thoughts. And they write really interesting things, whether it be a song or a poem or a book, you know? So yeah, all things good and bad. But yeah, to just be talking about how it's only bad, that's bullshit. And again, if you talk to the fake Rasta, he's never even smoked in his life. So why has he got such an opinion about it? He sounds like a Fed, right? Just like how weed is illegal federally. This guy's always talking about how bad weed is, like a Fed. You know, I mean, you just follow the connection. It's obvious. Shout out to Leslie. Yeah, exactly. That's what knowledge should do. It should build confidence. You got detractors coming at you talking shit. It's like, okay, where's your facts? Here, I just laid down my facts. Where's your facts at? Oh, you don't have any facts. You just got opinions and feelings. You're just all hurt and sensitive over there. You're like another stereotype person that all you can say is tinfoil hat and conspiracy theory. And, oh, it sounds like you watch too many movies. You notice how all the Americans are like wind up toys? They all say the same things. Conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat. It's like, that's all you got? I just showed you how they just did the latest Michigan 46 ritual. That's all you got? You don't got nothing. You got feelings and emotions. You got program responses in your head from watching too much TV. That's all you got. He's not a Rasta. I'm calling him a fake Rasta because he's got dreads and hates weed. Again, it's a joke. That's why I said the Rastas want their hair back. Yeah, a lot of people do smoke too much weed, and it's not productive. So I'm not saying all. It's just like magic mushrooms. Magic mushrooms have a real spiritual component. If you're an atheist right now, do the right dosage of magic mushrooms and go out in nature. You might not be an atheist anymore. I've seen people lose their atheism doing magic mushrooms. But the thing is, you start doing magic mushrooms every day, you'll start getting sick. You'll lose the good spiritual feeling. You can kill yourself. So again, it's all things in moderation, all things good and bad, using things responsibly, having the knowledge to know how to use it right. You do way too big of a dosage of mushrooms, you've never done it before, you're going to have the worst time in your life. You're going to be having nightmares, you're going to be freaking out, you're going to be hallucinating in ways that you don't like. You're going to feel like you're going to die. But you do the right dosage, in the right place, in the right environment, you might awaken to something that you've been needing to awaken to your whole life. Again, there's a right way to do things. There's a wrong way to do things. It's just like my sister. My sister hates weed because she smoked weed one time and she had a really bad experience. Now, why did she have a bad experience? She was in college. She was drinking. She was already drunk. And then she smoked weed. And then she got the spins and passed out and vomited and can't remember what happened to her that night. And it was a really awful experience. Well, that's because you did it the wrong way. I always say to her, you can't say that experience is what weed is. Had you smoked the right amount of weed and been sober before, not drunk, it would have been a whole different thing. You wouldn't have had the spins and vomiting and forgot everything. You did it the wrong way. So that's ignorance. And my sister's a willfully ignorant person. It's like she likes being in a state of ignorance. She likes being such a mainstreamer. She thinks she's holier than thou because she goes to church on Christmas and Easter and watches George Stephanopoulos and didn't even blink an eye last year when George Stephanopoulos' producer died out of nowhere for Christmas in the latest sick, twisted Jesuit ritual, which we covered back then. You know? That's the other thing about this world is that the TV, because so many of us were raised in front of screens, and it was the same thing in my house. You know, parents are at work. The only thing at home to talk to you is the screen. But, you know, my sister, she has more respect for a George Stephanopoulos of the world than her own family. And literally, a guy who's like literally a part of this ritual sacrifice sick satanic cult. And she thinks that, you know, she thinks she's in touch with God and Jesus. And she's not. She's of something demonic as well. Her whole life's about materialism and wealth. It's all it's been about ever since she married into it. She's about all the wrong things, but she thinks she's so holy because she believes in Jesus. And that's why, again, I mean, I can point to a million different Christians I know that are empty people spiritually, who don't know their ass from their elbows, who have all these warped ideas, and their own behavior and life and actions doesn't match up with what they think they're really about. My sister thought I was an idiot for giving up a six-figure job in the real estate industry to work for a group home for $10. She said, that you're going to look back at this someday and regret it doesn't make any sense. It's like, wait a minute, I thought you're the Jesus person. Was Jesus out like just for banking dollars, or was Jesus out trying to help people and make the world a better place? I thought that's what Jesus was about. You can't understand where I'm coming from, giving up a corrupt job to try and help out some children in need. That's why, like, whenever I have Christians come at me, I just think of my sister all the time. I just think, oh yeah, this person's like my sister. Doesn't have eyes to see, not really spiritual, thinks they are, about all the wrong things, doesn't value anything that's right, doesn't know up from down. So Shout out to the Zealots of Israel Ministry. Says, salute, Zach. Don't let these disturbed, emotional, effeminate people deter what you're doing. Trust me, I appreciate it. They don't, but I'll rant about it. I'll continue to rant about it in the hope that one of these rants penetrates their thick skulls. I know the fake Rastas out there watching right now. He might actually be thinking about it. See, here's why you're a coward. You know, see, he's mad because I brought him on yesterday. If you guys missed yesterday's stream, I brought on the fake Rasta yesterday to tell the story that he told me. Because, again, you had some guy trying to diminish my character based on all his lies and slanders, but he actually rolls with a really scummy, bad human being. And I learned about that through the fake Rasta, but he wouldn't come on and talk about it yesterday because he has no integrity, because he's just another piece of shit. And at the end of the day, he probably is a Fed or part of some Fed thing that's here to surveillance and police the truth community and infiltrate and fuck with it and cause disturbance and be there and film everybody. Sorry to everybody who came out that there are Feds hanging around us like, yeah, right, who are probably just putting us all in the database. But again, he didn't have the integrity or courage to admit the truth. He just ran away from it. Oh, he's calling in right now. Here, I'm going to answer the phone for him because like I said, I knew he's out there watching. Here, again, yeah, right. I'll apologize to you if you'll admit that what I'm saying is true, that you let me know about how scummy the guy is that, that fake Mike rolls with, how he beats women. You told me this. He beats women. You told me about the near-death experience for somebody in his crew, and he didn't help him out at all. He just took care of himself. You told me all of these things, and you said Will was starting to realize from following me that he was around a bad person. You called to tell me that. Now you can't admit it. So here's another opportunity. Is it true? I just talked to you about something that you know is true. So are you going to admit that it's true or not? I'm sorry. I'm not doing this shit because every time he comes on, he just sits there and like, refresh me. I mean, what? You're watching the stream, you fake fucking Rasta moron. God, people like this are poison, you guys. This is a poisonous human being. And then play dumb. Sorry, I don't like frauds like you. You got on your stream this morning. All right, he wants to call back in. Again, we're not going to play dumb. You just heard what I said, so don't say refresh me. Did you not call and tell me that Will's main guy that he rolls with, his claim to fame, beats women and had a friend in their group that was like literally dying and he wouldn't do anything for him and he made him like sleep in the dirt while there was only one mattress there? You told me this whole story. So again, because Will's trying to diminish my character when he rolls with a really scumbag piece of shit, which I know about because of you, I just want you to confirm that you called and told me that story. Okay, we're not going to do it. That guy's a fraud. That's a fraudulent human being right there. This guy, see, the whole time, last year when he was in New York, all he was trying to do was just always put drama in my ear. He's like, you know, this guy's making streams every day calling you a cult leader and saying this is all like some big CIA psyop. I was like, I don't want to hear about that. Why are you following that person's stream? That's all he did when he was in New York. He just kept bringing up drama. And now the same guy who was making those videos last year when we were out in New York, now that's his best friend. Now they're the ones doing videos talking shit about me together. So that's why, like, if you can't see through what a fake person this is, what a fraudulent human being this is, it's because you're stupid, okay? End of discussion. You're a dumb person. So, yeah, I mean, that guy's a fucking loser. And again, for people who say I'm all about money, the only here's what I'm guilty of with yeah, right. I never really respected that guy, but I saw there weren't enough people coming out. He was one of the only people coming out, but I never really respected him because he just drives around in his car and talks bullshit. And he never really helped share anything about the work. He never did anything for the work. And it's like my final straw with him was recently. He did a video on how we were all gonna, you guys, he put here, this guy right here, have fun, guys. This is a guy who uploaded a video that we were all going to turn into zombies because of the 10-4 emergency alert. That was the content he put out in the world, that we were all going to turn into zombies. Maybe you turned into a zombie, but what a dumb video. Remember the video I put out more on? The video I put out was how the 10-4 alert showed that there was going to be something that went down on October 7th in the realm of like a 9/11 terrorist attack type thing. And they're calling it Israel's 9/11. So my work on 10-4 was right. Your work about how everyone was going to turn into zombies was idiotic. And I mean, anyone with the brain knew that from the moment you put out the video. But I don't want to be around people like this. I don't want to be associated with morons. I don't want, yeah, right, to be seen as like part of the crew when this is where he's at. You know, he didn't share any of the work that we did on Maui, which was brilliant, but he shared the losers video about how they burned down Maui with graphene, which comes from graphite, which isn't even flammable. So, I mean, like, I don't know what's dumber to say that everyone's going to turn into zombies on 10-4, or that a non flammable rock material powder was ground up and spread on Maui to burn the island down. It's like, a non flammable rock burned down Maui. Wow, good research. So. And what's funny is he's in the chat now downplaying it. He's down in the chat saying, "Dude, you're a clown, man. You'll just say anything and you don't even mean what you say." God, go watch his videos on the 10-4 emergency alert. He said he told everybody to buy a Faraday bag, and he said he was going to put his phone in the Faraday bag and then in a microwave, and it's just like, this guy's a loser. Here, he wants to call him one more time. Okay. All right, here, one more thing. Why were you on your stream this morning saying we've only called 2 Super Bowls? Why are you on there lying again about me? What? No, I'm asking you why you lie so much and you have no integrity. Yeah. Yeah. You were lying again this morning. Here, let's count. Super Bowl 50, 52, 53, 54, 55, 57. How many Super Bowls is that? Is that 2? And all the other ones that we didn't call in advance, we still got them right in the game. So we haven't missed a Super Bowl in the time I've been here. So nobody has ever called sports championship before the season. Hold on. Do I just call sports championships, or do I call specific numbers and show how it's synced up with like death rituals and politics? Huh? Tell me anybody who's hit as many sports futures as I have in the last decade. Hold on. Let me know. Hold on. I don't want to listen to you. You're a dumb fucking retard. Who's called as many sports futures in the last decade or in the history of their life as I have in the last decade? Tell me that. Because, I mean, we've nailed them in college, pro, Wimbledon, tennis, all this shit. Been calling futures like crazy, and it's way bigger than calling sports. They might say, somebody out there might have the right team, but probably not both teams. We've done both teams multiple times, but it's bigger than that. I'm showing how it's all connected with the politics, the news, the ritual sacrifice. Again, it's not just calling the sports future. It's showing who's doing it and why and for what purpose and how much bigger it is than just the sports game. You're trying to diminish and downplay. And again, since you're saying other people have done it, here, I'm going to put you back on. Name one name of somebody who's called as many sports futures as I have in the last decade. Give me one name. Name one name. Name one name. One name, dumb motherfucker. Name one name. Yeah, thank you. That's the one you can name. All right, adios. Yeah, the only name I can name too who's done what I've done is my name. So glad we're on the same page there. But I can't stand listening to that guy because he just keeps babbling and nothing comes out. And it's like 5 minutes will go by and he hasn't said a fucking thing. God, you're a waste of air, dude. Something weird's going on with his children too, because they don't have any personality. They don't say a peep. They're just totally dead silent. It's like, are they getting abused? I wonder if he beats his children. I know it's going to piss him off, but I do wonder. Because it's just like, it's not natural. It's not natural to have your kids just like following you around at your side when they're 18, 19 and not saying a word. And then I noticed when we ate at the restaurant, none of your kids sat at the same table with you. They all went to a different table. I thought that was weird. I was like, like, why is kids at a different table? Something's up with that guy, you guys. He's no good. His woman just left him out of nowhere. That was weird too, because she was always right by his side, but then she just left him out of nowhere. It made me wonder. I was like, what's going on there? I thought their relationship was good. Must have been all for show. Must have been all for show. For somebody who says give him 5 minutes, why? I've already done that. Have you not seen when he's done that before? He doesn't have anything to say. He just babbles and says nothing. It's like listen to a fucking retard. No, there's nothing to say. He's just a liar. I'm just proving my point. Why did he get on this stream? He made a stream this morning. Go watch his stream if you want to listen to him. He got on there and all he said was lie after lie. He didn't say one thing that was true. No. I'm going to treat him like the piece of shit he is. Yeah, here. Yeah, right. The night before we had our fallout, he sent me a big long text about how your work's unprecedented. It speaks for itself. Thanks, man. I made another big come up last night. Another nice big payout on the knowledge. And then the very next day, he's slandering. So I mean, just a scumbag. Anyone who wants to hear him converse again, I just got to assume that you're of the low intellect or troll as well. There's nothing to hear from that guy. It's listening to a rambling fucking moron who doesn't know what he's talking about, who all he can do is lie and cover up for his scumbag friends. He's a dishonest person. So, no, I know what the truth is. I don't give a shit if you guys don't know it. You don't have eyes to see. Trust me, that guy's scum. He's not honest. He's a liar. He's a fraud. He knows how shitty Will's main guy is. See, yeah, Right's connected to Richie from Boston somehow. He talks about when they hung out one time in person. He's connected to Brian at High Impact Flicks. He's connected to all these frauds in the community. And again, Bamboo Soldier is in Monograph's chat. Cuts One's in Monograph's chat. He's connected with Yeah, Right, the Matrix. Monograph's the guy who's been doing all the weirdo shit to me for a decade now. He's the guy who threatened me for Christmas Eve before the car crashed in the house. He's the guy who said he employs untold numbers of people on YouTube. I'm starting to wonder if they're just all in the same network together. A network of shills and disinformation agents, low-level feds, something. Some weirdo operation. He's part of it. But the person who said the last person you ever worry about is Monograph, well, I don't know where you're coming from, but if you look, there's a lot of people online who've had a Monograph do a lot of weird things. There used to be a bunch of videos on YouTube about how Monograph was mailing people dead animals in the mail as intimidation threats. I saw that before I had my problem with Monograph. Monograph did a video about me and a dead squirrel, and I woke up the next day with a dead squirrel on my doorstep. Monograph did a video about me, how I better watch my ass for Christmas Eve 2016. I had a car crash through two walls of my house. So I don't know who Monograph is, but he does seem to have some connections. And the things that he threatens and says, they do seem to manifest in the world. So, you know, I'm not afraid of any man, but I am concerned about Monograph. And I do all wonder who's in his network. Because I remember when he was doing all that shit back in 2016, he said that he employs a lot of people on YouTube. Yeah, that Matthew Khan's like some weirdo crackhead. I mean, that was another guy that never belonged here. See, that's the thing that's sad too is yeah, it's some weird operation, man. That guy kept giving $2 super chats and asking me to promote his channel, but the reason I couldn't promote his channel is because I'd go watch his videos. Like, this just makes the work look so stupid. I can't promote this. I'm sorry. I appreciate the super chat, but your work is god awful. You don't help out the community. I saw what you sent me, but I have not had a chance to watch it. I appreciate it, Gary. Okay, but yeah, anyway, there's actual work to do. I'm done with the ranting. If you got here late, rewind the stream. It should have been done after the 15-minute mark. The first 15 minutes are the actual content of the Harbaugh thing. And we got another death. Hold on. I don't know who DJ Hayden is. Another player's dead. Houston's the 31 city, right? We call Houston the 31 city. 31's the 11th prime. He's dead on 11/11. He's dead in Houston at age 33. Oh man, it just, you know. And see all these like sick people that hang around here, like the fake people, like Yeah, Right, the Matrix. See, they're essentially all accomplices in these ongoing murders because they diminish the work and downplay the work. And this morning, that fucking loser's on there saying all Zach does is just show how news and sports is rigged. It's like, that's all I do is show news and sports is rigged. Isn't it really about something much bigger than that? This guy might not have enough IQ points to put together, but isn't it like about exposing the things that are programming and controlling the minds of the masses? I mean, does that guy have a book that accurately foretold when the coronavirus pandemic was going to end, the ritual that it was? Because I do. I had the book out before it even happened. Dead on prediction written in the book. So, again, that book could have changed the world if it got out there. Did you ever help promote my book one time? No. And all the time you've been around, you've never helped promote my book. You've never helped promote a single thing about gematria. You've never done anything. You just hung around like a fucking loser, like a fly on the wall. That's why I don't need you. Don't need your $100 super chats either. Your money, non-necessary. And again, that is the one thing I'm guilty of. You know, he was a supporter of the work. He came out and stood around, but he never really did anything. He just hung around. And now we ultimately see why he was here. Just to bring around psychopaths. He brought that weirdo Cuts into the community. He brought that weirdo Will into the community. Who knows what other weirdos he brought into the community. His buddy Wise. Talk about the most Orwellian name there ever was. A total retard who goes by the name Wise. Says a car ran a red light and 6 people were killed at 2 a.m. local time. Damn, that's a lot of people dead in a car crash. Are we sure that's what happened there? 6 people dead in a car crash? I mean, unless there was a bunch of people in one car. Houston's having a better season this year too. They got D'Amico Ryans. Let's see. He's born June 27th and dead November 11th. Let's check this out. It's week 11. Today's date numerology is also 11. The way today's date works out, 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 2 + 0 + 2 + 3. The date numerology is 11 on 11/11. It's week 11 of college football. It's 137 days after his 33rd birthday, you guys. 137 is the 33rd prime number. Hold on. We got a call from Big Al. What's up, Al?
Yeah, man. How you doing?
Doing all right. What's up?
Yeah. I just wanted to comment. I mean, this is just anybody. It's obvious that's a part of their tactic because, like, ever since you brought this to awareness, right? There's been more people. There's more channels and more people out there that make the work look retarded and ridiculous than show the work the way it needs to be pointed out like you do. You know what I mean? So that's obviously a major tactic that they've gone to,
Sure. Just to make a point here, to rewind for people who got here late, again, I've always taught the work in a meaningful way that's easy to understand and interpret and is provable because it goes on day after day. It's just like, look how simple it is, the Harbaugh thing. We call Michigan the 46th state. It's how we called Michigan to go for Biden in his route to becoming number 46. But Harbaugh has to get busted exactly 46 weeks after his birthday as the Michigan head coach right before week 11 in the game of 11 on 11. And then again, that's 322 days. And it just so happens that next week on the 322nd day of the year, Michigan's playing Maryland, the state where his brother's an NFL coach when they were watching the Harbaugh Bowl. I mean, the ritualism's transparent. So what he's saying is like somebody who came into this community years ago and acted like they were our friend for about a month before they started slandering me was Derek. And then Derek started teaching everybody that gematria like this was false. He was saying, he said that the reduction cipher was too simple and you could get too many connections in there. So it was pretty much meaningless. It's like, who the fuck is this guy coming in here after 1 month saying that this is bullshit when this is what they're doing every day? So yeah, there's just been so many people who have tried to come here and act like they're part of something, but all they're really trying to do is create confusion and diminish the work. And yeah, so thank you for calling in and saying that, because that's right.
Especially when you documented it now for 10 fucking years, and we know what the most important cipher is, right? So for a part of that time, you didn't even know the in reverse, which gave you the whole fucking script. You were only seeing half of it, but it's very clear the half that's the most relevant, just through documentation every day. I mean, so someone to say that, I mean, that's not even up for debate. It's not even up for fucking debate.
Oh, hold on. Al, I had it on. Al, people can't hear you because I had it on the wrong damn audio setting because I forgot. But if you want to start over your point, Al, go ahead. Go.
That kind of argument's not even up for debate. That's what's so ridiculous about it. When you've documented it for 10 years, and part of that, you only knew half of it, right? So you were able to see what they were doing, even only knowing half of the script. So it's just obvious from documentation that first half was the most relevant. So it's not even up for argument. Like, you can't even fucking argue that. That's what's so annoying about, like, the stuff that people come out and they argue and they try to, the rebuttal. It's just like, it doesn't have any weight because we can see what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's just obvious. It's just, and it's annoying too. And you can just see this is just like tactics that they've used to try to suppress this as much as they can, because what you've shown is 1,000% what they're doing. You know, it's not even like up for debate.
Yeah, we definitely more than made the case, and it just keeps piling on every day. So
it's fucking annoying, man, because like, and it's not about the sports. I almost wish like you don't even do the sports anymore. You know what I mean? Because this is like so much more than that. And that's what they'll use to come back. Well, this doesn't work. This isn't how you do it, because if that was the case, you would get every fucking game right. You know what I mean? This is like their argument. This is where they're trying to go with this. But me, I just being ahead of society by light fucking years is what this information is. And that's not even fuck the sports. You just see how the sports is just part of it. That's just used for the most retarded people in society to control them. That's what that is. That's how the manpower is controlled. We give them this. But like being so fucking ahead of like this whole corona thing, I mean, light years ahead of it. And then after all that was said and done, you know,
and hey, just to bring it to current times, ahead of the Israel thing, we saw the day Netanyahu came back, why he came back that day, and what it foretold about the future. So
totally, man. I mean, this is how it is, though. Like, it's just like you can't. This stuff is the most powerful stuff. It's like the most golden fucking nugget I ever ran into in my life by accident. Like, and just to throw that away, you know, I mean, because it allowed me to see what they're going to do fucking, you know, months in advance. Like the whole corona thing, after all that came down, you know, I had all these employees coming up to me saying, yeah, if they do that again, I'm going to also, you know, not wear the mask and all this shit. And I said, listen, this is more than the mask. I said, you need to stay away from what we already saw even before they were fucking doing that. You know what I mean? That's like, that's why this stuff is powerful, and that's why they don't want you to know about it.
Yeah, again, the whole point of
early on. I mean, like, you know, like I just, it's just a joke, man. It's just irritating because this just shows you how fucking dumb a populace has to be for people just not to see this. You know what I mean? Like, what is wrong with these people? Where are they at?
Under a spell, total mind control. And I mean, that was the whole thing I understood when I was 18.
These agents just feed into it, right? They just feed into these dumb motherfuckers because they know that. We'll just give them this, and then, yeah, they'll just forget about it, you know?
Yeah, indeed. And again, I mean, I saw what it was when I was 18. I realized that people were under severe mind control because it was like talking to a robot. Every person I talked to, they all had the same responses, the same thoughts. Back then, the common line was then move out of the country. Almost everybody said move out of the country then. It's like, oh, so that's what we're supposed to do as Americans if we see our government's corrupt and just starting wars, we're just supposed to leave the country?
Yeah, these are the same people that everything has been through. Like, most people have been raised to the TV.
Yeah.
You know, and most people haven't even been out of their own little small town. So, like, whatever they're showing them, that's what they just believe and think all across the world or about whatever it is. You know what I mean? Which makes me think they probably do the same shit all over the world.
And they do.
But, yeah, it's just annoying, though. You know, like, just the people could be this fucking dumb. I mean, you can't. You proved your point like 1,000 times over. This is exactly what they're doing every day. It's why they, you know, delete all your content. It's why they pay people to fuck with you every day. I mean, like, if I, like some of these people that in the community that I used to listen to, you know, that were, you know, trying to teach this, I don't even subscribe to them anymore. Why would I waste my fucking time? So, like, these people that just, like, hang around and you're like, look, he's even calling up now. I told you. And what did you say? I guarantee you this guy's listening right now. Why would you do that? That wouldn't make any fucking sense unless you're a part of some network, which means you're not legitimate. It means you're a fucking fraud. It means you're a sellout.
Yeah, and he is.
It means
he is.
My motherfucking hair.
It's my fault, though. It's my fault. That guy pulled me aside in Oklahoma City and told me that he knew he was a Fed and to watch my back around him. And then I do think about how his avatar is like a Jason mask. He's some kind of weirdo, that guy.
I remember being in Seattle with you and looking over there and this weirdo guy.
No, he wasn't. That's not the same person. There probably was a weirdo guy there. He wasn't in Seattle, though. He didn't come out to Seattle.
No, I'm not talking about this guy. I don't know who he is. I'm just saying, even then, that was way before what you're talking about. That was one of the first times, you were out there like in a big thing, right? With a few people. I think we had like 20 or 30 people there. They were there then. It wasn't like this is something that they started doing. They were fucking doing it in the early days too. They were sending people out.
I've been dealing with weirdos in my life since 2014. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like this is why people are just too dumb to just not see, right? The forest from the trees, because like why would a person be fucked with that way? Why would people hang around this guy's channel who talk all this shit? And like you say, they're getting online and they're doing videos for hours on end. I mean, this is a network. They're being paid. So right away, as a critical thinker, I'm like, oh, what are they saying? Oh, it's just the opposite of what they're saying that is going on.
Right.
That's easy to see.
Right.
But this is you can only get this over on just fucking dumb people.
Exactly.
Why would USA Today write an article about your shit if it wasn't legit? When you're just a regular person like me, a regular person don't get fucking articles written about them. I mean, that's fucking, light bulb should have just been going off all over then for people who maybe were like, oh, I don't know, I'm on the fence still. You know what I mean? And like, there's 1,000 other examples of the USA Today in 10 years now. This shit that's happened and this weird shit and stuff that would only be explainable as if they don't want you doing this. And why don't they want you doing this? Because we already know the answers to all this shit. We already know. You're not fucking supposed to know this shit. Which means everybody should know it and understand it.
Exactly.
None of us would be fucking participating in any of this shit. None of us would be paying taxes, which needs to happen. None of us would be fucking voting, which needs to happen. We wouldn't be sending our kids to these indoctrination institutes. None of that shit. It would shut the whole fucking thing down. That's why they come after you like fucking nobody else's business.
That's like
because you've been fucking right the whole time.
That's the point I was trying to make yesterday. In the time I've been here, there's been at least 50 channels who made multiple videos about me, just slandering me with nothing but bullshit. And a lot of them have been faceless people. Like, you don't even know who they are. There's some name and you don't see their face. But just nonstop since I've been here. And it's like, why am I getting attacked so much unless what I'm doing is like the intelligence agencies don't want this out there? That's the way it's always felt.
Yeah, and you can see like when all they're fucking they're the start of World War III or whatever the fuck they're trying to escalate into. You can just see, well, now it's heating up more because they know they got more retards fucking paying attention and trying to find answers to what's going on. So then they know they got to go. Yeah, we got to go 24/7 now on them. To shut this shit off or make him quit. That's why I'm so glad I supported your work when you were ready to quit. You were done with this shit. And then there was this weird thing, man. I can't explain it, Zach, because it's like it seems like your support's gone down when it should be through the roof. But like there was something there that was enough support that allowed you to keep doing this. This is a weird time, right? It would seem like now more people would be willing to support because the work would be out there. More people would know about it. But see, that's what they've done. They've come after the work and make it look like it's irrelevant.
Yeah, I mean
more people a reason, people like your sister, to dismiss it.
Yeah,
that's all they need is the dumbest, simplest little thing for somebody to say, yeah, that's bullshit. They're not doing that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And it's for people to say like what do you say? I mean, you've explained it. It's all connected to this Bible that they gave you. English, it's all this English stuff that we know a little bit about. There's a reason why we don't know that much about it. Why we weren't even fucking talking about any of it.
Oh,
because
by the way,
if we knew more about it, somebody would have fucking figured this shit out already.
By the way, you saying that, so I don't know if you saw yesterday's stream, but Will's on there. He's like, you don't even know the guy who brought over Hebrew to English. And what's funny is if you look at the Wikipedia for Gematria now, there's a ton of information on that. And again, when I started this work, the Wikipedia entry for Gematria was so small. It was like a couple paragraphs. Now it's got pages of information. But anyway, these guys are reading Wikipedia and they think they're so smart. They're like, oh, Zach didn't even know this guy's name. Well, anyway, I just had to go look up the Wikipedia to see what he was talking about. So would you believe it that it was an Italian in the 1500s who is the reason they're saying that Gematria went from Hebrew to English. So the fact that Will was trying to make a point like that made me look dumb. I mean, doesn't this ultimately support the point that I'm saying about how it's the Catholic Church that's done this? Here's an Italian man who's credited from bringing Hebrew Gematria to English.
God damn. And to me, I don't know what's more fucking annoying. These people that are just complete fucking retards, or these other people who keep trying to, well, it's all Jews. It's all Jews. Shut the fuck up. I mean, this is like, it's just fucking annoying. And it just clearly shows like how obvious this is. Everything's fucking English. Why is it not Hebrew? Why are we not running off of their fucking calendar? And it's obvious that the people running the show, they make sure there's a lot of these, Jewish people in all these high places. Not to say that they don't have a big influence in this too, but it's not fucking Israel and Zionism. That was created after the fact, obviously, to get where they are now, motherfuckers, right? Which means they've been doing it the whole time. They didn't give anything up. They didn't fucking lose. These same people have been running it the whole fucking time.
Exactly.
They got control of it.
Exactly. And just for the record, this guy who supposedly is the connection between Hebrew Gematria and English Gematria, he's also considered one of the fathers of the Renaissance. And yeah, he's a prominent person in history. And what's funny is that his name in English equals 129, which is 201 in base 8 counting. But he's also the author of the Oration of the Dignity of Man, which is also 129. So again, this actually goes before the 16th century. He's the century before the 16th. And think about that, because I'm always saying how in the 16th century, you can see how everything was put into motion, why English was standardized with 26 letters. So that's like if a guy's calling in and be like, oh, you're so dumb because you don't even know that. It's like, what kind of, the guy's like a little kid, little Willie. But again, if you're going to call in and share this information, doesn't it? I mean, if you have a brain, you realize this just validates everything I'm teaching. This is the piece before. So I'm glad Wikipedia added this to their thing, but this information used to not be on Wikipedia. So.
Well, it's just like anything else. They have to address these things now. Nobody knew what the fuck Gematria is, but there was a few years ago, they're talking about it, trying to make a joke out of it on the late night talk show. It's like, can't people see what's going on? Oh, now they're talking about rigged sports. Before I ran into your work, I never even fucking heard of rigged sports. Never fucking heard of it.
Right.
I heard about fights and shit being rigged, and maybe the official rigged it or whatever. Wow, this is fucking light years. You put this fucking world light years ahead. That's why they tried to suppress it so much. It's not even baby steps, man. Like nobody has like gave me the truth to give me giant leap steps ahead of the rest of society. So yeah, man, we can be fucking arrogant. Because I do feel that way now. I guess that's how these motherfuckers have ruled over us for all these years. This is kind of like where they get that too, right? Where they feel they're better than us because they know so much more. Man, look at all these fucking retards playing along, doing all this shit we want them to, bickering, fighting over bullshit every fucking day that we give them, And look, then they get on there and they fight for us even. The controllers, they're working for us and don't even fucking know it. That's how retarded they are. That's why it's annoying. But I still thank you because I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, man.
Well, you're very welcome, Al, and thank you for always being a good supporter. Again, Al came out. Imagine the whole country had showed up, man, when we were out there in Seattle 2 days after the pandemic was declared to educate about Event 201.
The whole country. Enough people would have been there. We would have been inside that building with the Gates Foundation, wouldn't we?
Well, in a way, we got inside the building because we had the employees come out and tell us that we had the building buzzing about Event 201.
Well, that's totally that was effective enough. But and that's fine. That's what I would want to imagine.
No, but the thing is, Al, to rewind to what you're saying. If way more people had come out, instead of we had like 30-some people out there, if we'd had thousands of people out there, might have become a national news story. Everyone might have learned about Event 201 that very day. and then started thinking about the things we're talking about. Maybe they would have had something to do. Said, look at this, right across the street from the world's biggest needle. Here's Mr. Vaccine in King County when Corona means crown. And he was just part of a simulation of a coronavirus pandemic that shuts the world down for 2 years. Isn't that exactly what happened? Just like the simulation. We could have got into the death of Carrie Mullis at age 74, right before the simulation on the day, leaving 74 days left there. Oh, by the way, this same guy who's credited with bringing Hebrew to English or for Gematria, this Italian, he's also considered the father of Christian Kabbalah. And this has been what I've been saying since the beginning, you guys. Who else would have encoded the language so all this lines up with Christianity? English, Gematria, occult, Masonic, Jesus, cross, Messiah, gospel, parables, holiday, all 74. So, yeah, thank you for bringing up this name that's been added to Wikipedia because it just further cements exactly what I say. We didn't have this piece of information, but it only made sense before. This just cements it further. So
it does, man, and that's just why you figured it out, man, because you are fucking smart. I mean, it had to take somebody smart to figure this shit out because you were way on the outside before you ran into what even Gematria was, but you're like, oh man, I know they're doing something with numbers. It's got to be number related, but it just don't even make sense. All the articles where they just had to put the number in there,
Exactly. That's what I was looking at forever.
Some 38 minutes ago.
Exactly. JFK, they have to tell you that way when he dies. It's now some 38 minutes ago.
Like, how can people, you give 100,000 examples in 10 years of this. Like, it should have only taken one or two. And people still acting like this ain't the way they're running the world and they're doing it all this way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, wow. So it's, to me, it's always been one of two things. You're working for the government, you're some fucking troll agent, or you're just fucking mad retarded. I don't know how, but you're fucking retarded. And I can't help you or save you. So, you're in the way. There's a lot of people in the way right now. That's why it's fucked up. That's why the world is the way it is. It would be a lot better if a lot more of them were dead, honestly. I mean, that's a bad thing to say, but we're like fighting for our lives because we understand what's going on. We understand people are trying to fucking kill us and shorten our life and take away our rights and liberties. We get that, the little bit that we have left. Then you got these other retards that, they're helping these people out by going along with their shit. So, like, who's the enemy at that point?
Exactly. Exactly.
Hurt you, damage you,
Exactly. In the same way the people who are doing this need to be eradicated, so do all the people who go along with it because they're the people that give these people their power. Again, if the nation's like us, 9/11 doesn't work. COVID doesn't work. None of this bullshit works.
Right.
Because all these people refuse to listen.
All these religions and shit don't work either, right? It doesn't mean you can't have a society who's spiritual, but none of that bullshit works. Because then you have a society that wants more answers. And when you got a society that and they're united in that goal, they're going to find what the answers are. They're going to have the same answers as these motherfuckers who bleed. Their blood's as red as ours. I don't know who these fucking people think they are, but we're going to know the same answers as they do. These same people that probably know how to live and can live a long fucking time because they're doing the right things, Fuck. It's annoying, man. Like, this should be like a survival thing for everyone, I mean, it really should be. I saw it that way when I went out to Seattle. Like, who would fucking do that? I looked at it that way. And I didn't know who would show up, but I'm like, yeah, this is a survival thing. If I had thought for a second that maybe I was wrong about any of what I was going out there to do, I wouldn't have gone. There was no doubt in my mind that's what it was. And it still is to this day, and it just become even more clear. Because now we even know more. Thank you to Wikipedia. Go fuck yourself, right?
Exactly. So.
You think you're fucking smart. No, you're not. Yeah, you can get it over on all these other people, but you're not getting it over on us. So just give us more ammunition. Thank you very much. I love it. I love it that they do that because then that just gives more pull and weight to exactly who we know's the tip of the spear of this new world order,
Exactly. But you see, I mean, what's crazy is, people are not resonating with the work we're doing because it's like even the truth community, they've all been indoctrinated in these beliefs. It's Jews, it's Jews, it's Jews, it's Jews, it's Jews, it's Jews. And so what we're saying over here contradicts that. But we're proving our point. They have their phrase, it's Jews with nothing behind it. We're showing how everything's inked up with the Pope and Superior General. And look at the ritual they're doing in the NFL with the six
rituals that way. That's what I mean. To me, that just don't make any goddamn sense. If a Jew's running the show, why is every major ritual connected to the fucking Pope?
And why are we on the Pope's calendar? We're on the Pope's calendar.
And in light of also, because these people are dumb, but we're not, right? Well, why would they do that? Because we're not even supposed to know. We're not even supposed to be seeing how they connect it to the Pope every time. So that right there should be the dead giveaway, retards. Who's running it? You're not supposed to even know that. And now that we see it, it's like we're sitting in that seat right behind them, watching them kind of do it because we understand kind of how they're doing it. Oh, yeah, why would they do that? That doesn't even make any sense because we're not even supposed to know this language and how it's run. Wow. These people are just stupid. Fucking stupid.
People don't want to learn. They just want to go in their beliefs and their indoctrination. It doesn't matter what lane they're in. It's like everybody's been indoctrinated to something and they're not changing. It's just like they're molded into that and that's all they think and believe and nothing can change their opinion.
I got people too. They're these kind of people that are kind of awake, right? Oh, I don't need that to see this. Well, yeah, obviously you do, because you really don't know how rigged the fucking system is. If you don't understand this and see this, then you don't know how rigged it really is. Because these are the same people that think that, JFK was probably legit and he got his head blown off. We don't know what fucking happened. We don't know. We don't know any of that. You don't know the answer to that. The answer I do know, he was put in there and he's controlled like the fucking rest of them. Even if he was, the good cop, bad cop bullshit, playing like he's working for us. Yeah, that's the part about the Trump thing. It just annoys me to no end. You know what I mean? You fucking retards. He comes out and tells you, the media's fake, the elections are rigged. And this work showed that fucking 10 years prior to when he was fucking even in there, right?
Indeed.
Oh, now the retards believe it. But the retards don't see it was rigged for him too, retard, even if more people voted for the clown. You're a fucking retard. God.
And again, I still remember what I said in February 2016 before he was even the Republican nominee. What I said was dead on about how he'd be the perfect guy because he's polarizing. People love him, hate him. It's the perfect thing to tear the country apart further and further. And since then, they've brought in the transgender thing. I mean, just more and more divisive shit to polarize the whole country.
It is so funny too because they made it obvious with the Obama Michelle Michael thing, right? But they were probably doing it prior to then. So it makes me think even at the Bush thing, maybe there is something weird behind that too. It's just like the people's brains they're not even wired or work this way. If it's obvious they're fucking doing it to you, they probably already did it, motherfuckers. Oh,
Indeed.
So I just don't get it, man. They're letting you know it's obvious because they want you to know at that point. And then after that, look at what they do. You can buy dolls at Christmas where the kid can cut the penis or the tits off or whatever. You know what I mean? Right. They did that after the Obama thing, though.
Right.
So they're just trickling in on them. These people can't see what they're living in. That's what's so fucking pathetic about it. Because it's sick, it's just evil, it's demented, and like you say, they are clever about it because they're able to put it out there in a way that makes it look like, oh, we're just caring about your safety. We're concerned about you and your child. When it's the complete fucking opposite.
Yeah, indeed.
Maybe the first two steps might look like it, right, to get you there. And then once they got you there, you're just sucked in,
Yeah. So
people just don't want to admit how controlled the environment is around them and the information. You know what I mean? That's what they don't want to admit to. If they want to come back and attack you, your work, for reveal the most information about what we're fucking living in, ever in the world, in the history of the world, unless somebody else did this before you, we never didn't get to hear about them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We don't know the answer to that.
Yeah. That old Mark Twain quote, it's easier to fool people than it is to convince them that they have been fooled.
Totally, man. all this shit that they told us and all these, founders and all these awesome, great quotes. I mean, it just fits into what you fucking taught, man. And like, what's really going on?
Yeah.
Well, what is it that one of the, I don't know if he was one of the original ones, but the CIA, what's the head of the CIA? What do they call him?
I don't know what the title is for the head of the CIA.
It's a famous quote. Tell me out if you remembered it. I can't remember the whole quote, but it has something about, the American people, or they're in disillusion or whatever. If they only knew, what was being done to them and all this shit. Who was that?
Oh, I know what quote you're trying to say. The thing about that quote is, like, it's been fact checked by a million people, and they all try to make it seem like the quote is false, that it was never said. And so I know what you're talking about.
Maybe it wasn't, but like, who put it out there though, right?
I can't think of the name right now, but I know what you're talking about.
Even if they aren't exact or accurate, they wanted it out there for a reason. It's like, this is how they are. They're nonchalant. It's like when a guy fucking shows you up on the basketball court, then he wants to let you know, right? He wants to rub it in your face. That's what these fucking people are doing to us.
Here, to go back to the point you just made, though.
To
go back to the point you just made, again, that quote's about essentially how, like, the agenda will be complete when nobody knows what's true. Just everybody will be confused, essentially, about everything.
Thank you.
And whether the quote's true or not, I mean, that's kind of where we are. And it's like, it's why it's hard to trust anybody. And see, here's the thing, Will, or I just called you Will. Sorry, Al. Here's the thing, Al. Like, when I start seeing, like, how, yeah, Right's actually this agent, and he's just hanging around to cause problems and bring weirdos in the community to cause more problems. And then there's been other people like him in the past. It starts making you wonder, like, who else is like that? And part of my mind even goes, could Big Al be one of these people? Nah, Big Al's never done anything like that. But that's the problem with doing this and messing with people, is it just makes you start doubting everything. So
no, I totally get that. And the thing about him that was a big red flag for me is just the most obvious rituals. This guy was out there, because I never gone to this guy's channel. I think he's got a channel, I don't know, but I've only heard him or you refer to him when you were out on the corner, you were out there. And right away, which was me, a red flag was, this guy wouldn't like teach. I didn't want to understand the most fucking obvious, blatant ritual.
Sure.
With one fucking number. Like, this guy's, I don't trust this guy at all. Don't trust him at all. I see what's going on here.
Yeah.
Fuck these people, man. I want to choke these people out, man. People like this. I'd rather do that than fucking put a bullet in their head. I want to watch them die. And I've never killed anybody, but I know I could. These people, I want to get rid of them, man.
Well,
away.
where we're headed to.
Psychopaths achieve what they want them to achieve.
Yeah.
That's how this is, man.
Yeah.
These people fucking need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, to make the point, so last year at this time, it was like literally the day after I did the video on Netanyahu coming back and predicting what would come this year with the whole synagogue of Satan thing and all the number rituals. That alley girl who was Jewish, she flipped on me and started attacking me like the day after I made that video. And I wondered about that at the time. I was like, she's not doing that because she's Jewish, is she? But, she's another person that flew all the way out from Chicago and really wanted to meet. And then the person who got the most involved with that was this same the Matrix character. He started making videos about that every day, about just like agent provocateurs hanging around. And then it's just like about a year later, right after the Israel thing goes down, it was the day that the Israel thing happened that he flipped the switch and started attacking me. And then he's acting like I started. It's like, I didn't start it. You made all the videos about me, weirdo. So
yeah, it's obvious, man. Like, that's just too obvious to me. Those people they're not fucking smart enough to like make their own decisions and their own calls. So somebody's telling them, what to do. This is what you need to do now. Anytime we do,
here's the way I see it, Al, this is the way it's been for all the years, maybe even longer you've been here. Like when big things happen, when the work lands, when a huge prediction hits, that's when the most new trolls come out of the woodwork and just start attacking me. That Jeff C guy.
Look at some of those Super Bowl videos where, dude, you were just getting massive numbers of views, or the Bush thing when you called his dad. I mean, how do you fucking see that? That's the thing about me. Even I had a retarded guy at work almost 10 years ago. I explained to him, I'm like, listen, it was when Clinton was running against fucking Trump, right? And you called who she was going to use as a running mate. And I told the guys, like, hey, he said this guy. And about 2 weeks after that, I mean, look at this. And you saw his eyes. It looked like, oh, fuck. And I'm like, well, maybe I woke this guy up. Nah. But even that got him, right? I mean, that was one of your, like, hundreds of thousands of predictions. The guy that was talking all this shit about you haven't made any predictions or, you and Nostradamus or whatever, man. Nobody's ever fucking done this. I've never seen anything predictions made like this, which told me right away, oh, this is exactly what they're fucking doing. I need to understand this. That's all. I only needed to see one example. I didn't see 100,000. And these people still can't get it through their thick fucking skulls. Or if they can, it's because they're working for these people that you're exposing.
Yeah.
It's one of two things at this point. So
here, I just want to remind people too.
You can't be on the fence unless you're a part of the gang or you're a retard.
Sure. And here, just to bring up again, after the day after Super Bowl 50 landed, one of the like nastiest videos ever made about me was made by somebody named Jeff C. Do you know who Jeff C is?
No, but I've heard that name.
He's dead. He died. He died a couple of years ago, and people got mad at me because I said good riddance. They said, oh, you're a heartless bastard. I said, well, who cares if he died? The guy's a fucking loser. He's another shill scammer who tried to put again, imagine making this video. So in October, we said why the Broncos would beat the Panthers, how it was all synced up with all the racially divisive stuff in the news, why Von Miller would be the MVP. All of that lands. Jeremy White, who's been here ever since, he made like $20,000 off that Super Bowl. So did a lot of people from putting in a small future in October with those things. The day after that lands, this Jeff C. guy, who had a much bigger channel than me at the time, he puts a video about how I'm the dumbest person in the truth community. Nobody's ever made anything look stupider than Zach, and how everybody should be like harassing me and telling me to shut the fuck up. And I was like, really? So I'm showing how news and sports are connected. My prediction just landed like an unprecedented type of prediction, and you're attacking me? And I've never done anything to you. Well, then him and a call for an uprising team up. And then they start making videos and collaborating together, attacking me. And for people who never saw when that happened, when they both let me on their stream attacking me, they both got their asses handed to them, and a call for an uprising retired from YouTube the next day. And there was a part of that debate where a call for an uprising's connection disconnected, so it was just me and Jeff C. And Jeff C turned in this little puppy dog, and then all of a sudden he wasn't attacking, and he was like kind of complimenting me. I was like, look at these fucking weirdos. Without both of them together, he just totally changes. So when that guy died, I still say the same thing. Who gives a shit that he died? One less fucking loser in the world. And for all you guys who are sore about that, I don't give a fuck. This is a war, you guys. I'm on the right side of the fucking war.
When you do your videos and you like rest in peace, I mean, you put it nicer than I do, because I'd be like, for most of these fucking people in the entertainment world, I'd be like, good riddance, motherfuckers. Good riddance. You sold your fucking soul to fuck us over.
Yeah.
And, you want to be BMOC your whole fucking life.
He was trying to be able to fuck with me. He was trying to instigate all these people to just come harass and troll me for doing something right. So fuck him. And all of you guys who are still like, oh, I like Jeff C., then you're fucking losers too. That guy was a scumbag piece of shit, and the world's better off that he's gone. Who cares that he died? He deserved to have an aneurysm. Peace out.
Like him, nobody would have seen Gematria and seen how we're being fucking manipulated and mind fucked every day.
Yeah. Again, somebody just said a minute ago in the chat that you're too angry and I'm too angry. The reason we're angry is because we're actually men that still have testosterone in our body, and we don't like being lied to and bullshitted and living in a world of fucking losers that march along to tyranny. That is something to be angry and outraged about.
That same dude at work that I used to work with, him, I don't know why. It was my fault because I kind of felt bad for the dude. But he's always that kind of guy, kind of a bigger dude, but soft, real fucking soft. And that's what he would say too. Why are you angry all the time? What do you mean? Why am I angry? Because of what's going on, man. And then you went out and procreated and had kids, And that's what I told him. I said, I hope to God you didn't fucking give your kids those fucking things, because I didn't work over there anymore. And I knew his kids because they came over for a couple of pool parties at the house, and I mean, I still, even after I headed out with the office in there and the other guys in there, I could give a fuck less. They could get run over by a bus. But Chris, I still tried to resonate towards him because I don't know. I thought he was a good guy, but he's just too fucking soft. You know what I mean? And this is what we have. And I don't know why. We're about the same age too, but maybe he put some shit in his body that I didn't get. I don't know, Zach. But no, the men need to be mad. I mean, if you ain't mad and angry, something's fucking wrong with you.
Yeah, there's another quote. It's no, what I forget exactly how it goes. It's like no sign of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society, and essentially that's all I think of anytime anybody comments on my tone or my anger. I just think, see, it's just because this person's not awake. This person's still asleep. That's why they're so comfortable and so at peace living in hell.
That fucking comment speaks volumes, and I know it very well. And even after you say it, and I've heard it 1,000 times, it puts a bad fucking taste in my mouth because it's so true.
Yeah.
It's like this shit, people come back on you. It's always that way. You know what I mean? Like trying to just reverse shit when you're 100% in the right. Somebody come, why are you this? Or, you know what I mean? It's just like, no. Yeah, well, I don't know, man. I just thank you for doing what you're doing still, and just keep plugging along. I guess as long as you can keep it together, because whatever you do, you don't want to sacrifice your own relationship or anything like that for this shit. And that's when years ago I knew I had to kind of lay off too. And then laying off a little bit has helped me and my wife too see more stuff now that I'm glad that she sees through. Thank God she didn't take none of this shit. She'll never take any of them again, and that's the best thing out of it, because then I know she's going to be around a lot longer with me. I know I can't have her, leave before me. I don't want that, Why would I want to put myself in that place or position? It's not a good thing for any of us. And unfortunately, I think we're going to see a lot more of it too.
Of course we are. Decade of vaccines, don't forget it.
We're still going to wake up. I mean, it's just almost like these people, they've got them under such a spell that they'll just do one little thing and then they can just get them to march to whatever it is.
Yeah, they pretty much have that society. So there's only a few of us. Like, Al, you were the only person at your work that was a holdout for not complying with all the bullshit.
Only one in Tucson, Zach. Only one in Tucson.
That's what I mean.
Over 2 months. And like I told people, months after that, people came back to me and other carriers and are like, yeah, if they do that again, about 10 or 15 of us are going to walk out. And I'm like, listen, I said, fuck that. I said, what you don't want to take are these shots. I said, that's what you really need to be concerned about. I said, they're working you so they can get you to take them motherfuckers. That's what it's about, But yeah, it's just annoying, man, because if probably 10 or 15 men in there would have did it, the fucking shit would have went away real quick,
Exactly. Well, and that's the power of one, right?
A lot easier.
The power of one, though, Al. Next time, if it does happen, there probably will be 10 or 15 people because you set the example, and then the time after that, it might be everybody.
Happen again. I want the government to try to do it again to see how these pussies respond, because now some of them are awake, and that's good. So let's see. Let's see if you guys, go through with what you said you were going to go through with.
Right. Yeah, we'll see.
I'm sick of it, man. It's just such a joke, man, and we can just get bamboozled and just pushed around by these psychopaths like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they got all these fucking sellouts in our society that the dumb average people can't see through, that they just use to manipulate us, I'm sick of it, man. So fucking annoying, man. Everybody's doing something for a fucking paycheck or, oh, I want this bonus, so I got to do this, even though it means fucking over my fellow man, This is how it just seems to be every fucking where, no matter how trivial or big it is. It's a joke. I'm sick of it. I don't know why more people aren't sick of it and angry, because if we had more people this way, these people would be fucked.
Exactly.
These people ain't fucked right now, and they're going to keep being able to fuck us and get over on us and take whatever they want. You know why? Because not enough of them are pissed off and angry like me and you. That's what it really boils down to right now.
Another quote.
Not enough men are fucking pissed off and angry to where they want to start fucking doing some damage and making some shit fucking happen. That's the problem right now.
Here, Al.
Anybody that disagrees with that, they're wrong.
Al, to sum up what you're saying, one of my favorite quotes is, those who stand for nothing will fall for anything. In America, nobody really stands for anything other than themselves and their materialism and their sports team and maybe their political party, and all that's bullshit. So essentially the things they stand for are bullshit, which means they don't stand for anything. And again, that you and I and other people like us, we're standing up for truth and justice and to see what the fuck is going on in the world and what needs to be stopped. That's why we're mad about it. We're mad because we know we're losing. Al and I are mad because we're losing. We don't like losing.
And why, like, isn't that the problem though? Can't we come to an agreement that the real problem in society right now is not enough people are pissed off and angry? Because if they were, it'd be a wrap. We'd have these motherfuckers, and we'd at least be able to stop them in their tracks where they couldn't take any more.
It's all part of the conditioning, though. See, that's the thing, Al, because people, when they see us, like almost everybody's reaction, the general public, to us is that we are too angry. Oh, something's wrong with, maybe there's a mental problem. They're angry. Because people's minds are controlled. Like, they don't have any free thought. They're not rational. They don't realize why they should be angry. They're like literally getting bent over. It's not quite as bad. Remember, that was another prediction I said, watch, pretty soon they'll be up people's ass for COVID, and it happened in China. It could happen here in the future. We might be under Chinese occupation in the future, the way things are going. But
well, kind of like the toilet paper thing connected to cooties. How funny was that, right? Like that wasn't a joke that anybody could see through. And then we saw the Indian motherfuckers who probably work for these big companies out here that are fucking us over, running all this shit on it that they're using. They were the ones gobbling up all.
People are going to know what you're saying. When Al was out here in Seattle, it was during the toilet paper crisis and coronavirus. And again, some Indian guys who work at big tech who are probably helping build the surveillance state, they had just sacks full of toilet paper because it was back in stock that day. But they were too smart to talk to us. They're like, we don't want to know anything you're talking about. And how many rolls of toilet paper did they have? It was crazy.
Oh man, I mean, both of them had both of their hands full of it. It's just it was a joke, man. Like, really? Really, I didn't even think you guys used toilet paper.
Left hand method.
What culture is that?
Yeah, the old left hand method. Yeah.
It's funny. This is true.
So,
I don't know. There's a name for it,
yeah.
but they would use like your bad hand.
Yeah, that's the left hand.
Bowel movement.
Don't shake with the left hand.
And I know that's true though, because when I grew up, my father, I think there was somebody who worked at one of his companies, my stepfather, and then we kind of befriended them. You know, we had like, some gatherings with them. And yeah, but I don't know. My mother told me that because I guess she became friends with the guy's wife, and, she got to hear a lot of stuff, just about that culture and how, men they just dominate, the women are just basically like servants,
Exactly. Yeah.
But hey, great stuff, man. I'll get off of here, man.
I got to wrap it up too. So,
but man, people need to hear it though. Because that's why right now I would just love to see the day, like, a bunch of people show up at Google, like 10 or 20,000, and we just say, hey, we're going to fucking come in here today. You know what I mean? And ain't nobody going to stop us. Like, why can't we do that? Like, I just can't figure out, like, we can't even get enough people to do that. You know what I mean? It's just frustrating, man. Or take one of these news places. Hey, no, we're going to get on the fucking air today, and we're going to talk, and ain't nobody stopping us. Freedom of speech. And it seems like they really want to get away with that, right? So they can just lock you up. That seems like to be their next big step. They want to take away any of your abilities to speak out so they can just put you in a fucking cage.
And that's coming too.
Makes me nervous.
That's coming too.
Angry.
Yeah, that's coming too. That's why I said in 2013.
I almost want that as much as my fucking tools. And you're going to try to take that away? Fuck that.
Right. Yeah. All right, Al, man.
They fucking did this shit to this society and made it this way. They've obviously neutered the men in this fucking society, and they did it for a purpose and a reason. They know it's easier because they knew things were going to get really rough about this time, and it's better just to have a bunch of fucking pussies running around so we could just roll these guys over,
Like, here's a sad stat, you guys. There's way more men right now who like getting fucked in their ass by other men than men who actually want to stand up for, what's right.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Oh, I know I'm right. No, the ratio would blow you away. It's like, Al, I mean, I was in Yakima the other year, which is a small conservative town. When they had the gay pride thing, I couldn't believe it. I mean, there was like 1,000 people out in the street. And I was like, God, this isn't a conservative town. Like, I was out there. People liked what I was doing for 2.5 months, talking about the pandemic and the bullshit of it. People walk by and salute and honk. But I couldn't get anywhere. I mean, at the most time, we had like 3 different people standing out there with me. 1,000 people come out because they're proud to get fucked in the ass. So,
it's just so obvious, though. Like, we don't even have to know the answers on this one 100% to know what could create a society that way. You know,
how about a religion that likes fucking little boys in the ass?
Yeah, totally. I mean, just think about it though. Like, what would make society that way too, though? What would make a boy want to turn into not liking little girls and women, but everyone wants to fuck other little boys and men?
Part of me wonders what's going in those jabs. That vaccine schedule's crazy now.
Natural, motherfuckers. None of that shit's natural. That means you were poisoned. Who the fuck poisoned you? Why would they poison you? And how did they poison you? They obviously poisoned them, right? Because you don't naturally come out that way unless they fucked with you. This is real simple to see too. And nobody speaks out about it. And, well, you can't say that. When it's the truth. They don't want you to say it because then people would stop doing the shit they want you to fucking do.
Hey, by the way, that Lil Willie, I actually, like, this doesn't mean to be slandered, but we know Lil Willie's gay. Will's admitted to being gay. I think him and Yeah Right have a romantic relationship. I think that's another thing going on there with Yeah Right with that fake Rasta. But, you know, Lil Willie just made the comment. He's like, Zach uses the 3-letter F word against gay people. It's like, dude, I thought you like hip hop music. Back in the 90s when people could actually rap, that was at the same time where you didn't want to be a fag like you. So
this is something else, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's so obvious. A word like fag, you know, is like calling somebody a nigger now. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, you could just see how they fuck society so bad. Like, how could that word would be worse? How could it? Unless there's an agenda here, people. Unless there's a clear fucking agenda.
Sure, one's a choice, and the other you're born. So
this and mold people in this society because they already knew. They knew they were going to have all these pussies and all these guys that like to fuck other men in the ass about this time because they knew what they were giving them and they knew how many of them were taking it. I mean, there's no other way society would just go that way. You're not born to fucking be this way unless you were poisoned or something was done to you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, nobody knows the answer to this shit, right? Just like now they're kind of trying to tell you that maybe these things cause heart complications.
Sure.
Well, but it's still the odds are better, you know, or far outweigh. You still need to take them. It's so minimal.
By the way, so a food that puts testosterone in men is also a food that they've tried to make really bad in recent years too. They try to tell people that you should not eat eggs. Eggs have a lot of good nutrients in them, and they have testosterone more than any other food. And you know,
really?
So.
Well, I got about 18 eggs in there, so I mean, I'll have some eggs this morning. I haven't eaten breakfast.
The thing about here's something true. Here, eggs have a lot of cholesterol, so that's why they're said to be bad because they'll raise your cholesterol higher than any other. But cholesterol is actually based on ratios. So if you work out every day and you exercise, yeah, your cholesterol will go way up because of the egg consumption, but also will your good cholesterol. And as long as the ratio, if you work out and exercise regularly, your ratio will stay good. And I mean, you can pretty much eat eggs to infinity and it's not really going to impact your health in a negative way. So again, that's what sucks about information in our world. They teach us everything.
It's like they're giving you a half truth.
Exactly.
But it's like it's a half truth. It's really a fucking bull-faced lie.
Right. What they need to say is eggs are really healthy, but you need to exercise. You need to be exercising with your egg consumption to keep your good cholesterol and everything in the correct ratios. So. But they want an emasculated society. They want estrogen out of society. They want all the betas that say things like, "Oh, you're too angry. That's why I don't watch your channel." Yeah, exactly. You're that FAG. You're that FAG, and that's why you're not down for the cause because you're a soft marshmallow person. So
it's unbelievable, man. It's so fucking annoying, man. Like, and it's tough. This is why they can't do what they do. Like, this is why they got to do things over generations. Because when I grew up, it was nothing like this. I mean, you might have called a kid a fag, but he probably wasn't a fag. You know what I mean? But now, if you did that, he probably is. I mean, that's the difference. So what happened here, you know? None of the society was this way. This is why they can't do it over one generation. They do it over several. But yeah, it is my job and people like your job to, hey, this is what's going on. We need to fight this. We need to be angry as fuck about it. So other people are angry and they don't succumb to this. But it's annoying, man, because these are the same people going out procreating too, having other babies, bringing other retards into the world.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for those kids. They
Yeah.
don't have a fucking chance.
Yeah.
You can't blame those kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got retarded parents.
Yeah.
It's messed up, isn't it?
Yeah. It is, man.
The government's probably trying to help them out by, we don't need these bunch of slaves now. We're going to, we'll make sure on that too, that there's not many of them running around. And at the same time, making it look like it's the opposite by outlawing abortion in most states, right? That's how they get you, man. And they're probably making sure less babies are being born when you would think the opposite, right?
This thing on Roe versus Wade overturn is short. Watch. The federal government's going to come through with something because the depopulation agenda, it's everywhere. That's why they push the homosexuality, the transgender. All this stuff is about depopulation. Abortion will be back on a bigger scale than it ever was before in the not too distant future.
And then being a part of this community too, Zach, we knew it was about depopulation before they ran cooties on us, and then couldn't have made it any more obvious. You go from cooties to Ukraine, now to this escalation of maybe World War III.
By the same pattern with all of them.
Get the fuck out of here.
The same numerical pattern with every single ritual too.
Yeah. Like you can't see, these are psychopaths running the world, and you got to be completely brain dead to not see it by now. When we told you before cooties, and now now you're getting like knocked around and slapped in the face, and you still ain't seeing what it's about. We told you what it was about. You were talking about the fucking Georgia Guidestones way before they did the massive ritual on bushes.
Another 201 ritual. Yeah.
7/7.
Another 201. Yep.
What a joke, or 7/6.
Yep.
What a fucking joke. 76th birthday on 7/6. Skull and bones equals 76. Somebody mysteriously blew these things up.
The name on the Guidestones, that R.C. Christensen, also 76. So.
And I remember listening to you that day, and you said, "Yeah, I know what this is." It's like, and they're getting rid of evidence, you idiots. And then what do you got? You get Ukraine, now this escalation of possibly World War III in the Middle East.
Yep. Hey, but hold on. Al, I want to rewind. All this like fake truth community, including like the people who attack me, they all celebrated that day and said that was a proof we were beating the New World Order. So that's what I mean. I just watch the same channels that are my detractors, the people that make videos about me. They're morons. You guys are all of it. That's why I don't mean to sound arrogant, but most of the other stuff on YouTube and the web is just bullshit that you're wasting your time with. These people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Wait, spend your time here where it adds up every day.
That's why I get all your content. Because like you told me, I'm like, yeah, I don't have that issue. And it's like, well, how many channels do you subscribe to? I said, well, maybe like 3 or 4. That's why you get all my stuff. I don't need to listen to any of it. These people have nothing else to offer. If they're not talking about this information, I don't need to listen to them. And then a lot of them that are talking about it, they're trash too, because they're there to make it look silly and retarded so people don't learn this. Because once enough people learn this, they know this fucking shit's over for these people. That's why they got to do what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody can't see this by now, you just need to go. Get the fuck out of here. It's all a favor.
Indeed. All right, Al, we both better wrap it up.
Fucking life or death, man.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
Right, man.
Thanks, Al. Appreciate you always.
Later.
All right, later, man.
You too, brother.
All right,
Bye-bye.
that's it. Yeah, again, just all the people don't resonate with people like Al and I is because you guys, you're not on the level. Sorry, that's just the way it is. You're asleep at the wheel. You think you're awake. You're one of these fake awake people. There's a lot of fake awake people. You're into religion and politics and bullshit, and you think the Georgia Guidestones coming down is a milestone of victories because you don't have a clue what the fuck you're talking about. But anyway, we do need to wrap it up. Thank you again to everyone who hits the like and the share. Shout out to the generous people. If you guys don't know about Enlil and Satan and Earth and the flood code, look into all that. I appreciate Real Talk bringing that up. That's something we visited many times. How this all goes back to Babylon. That's where Enlil's from, just like this Kabbalah code. Thank you, Stefan, and thank you, Logan Thomas, once again. He says, why did anyone need to be told not to get a random liquid in their veins? Actual men are a dying breed, indeed. Bless God for my Johnsonville brat and meatballs. It's tragic, you guys, just how weak and emasculated the society is and how inept. It's just, for those of us who still have it with us, we were born at a bad time. And that's why I've always said it's our job who see it to do something about it. And for all the people who hate on me for trying to do something about it, again, you guys are just filth. You're satanic filth, literally. You're part of this satanic cabal, and I do use the word satanic in the sense of evil. You're part of the evil cabal, but they're satanic, and they use that term, and that's why the numbers are behind it that go with the ritual day in and day out. You guys are part of the satanic cabal. Don't ever say that I'm part of it because I'm the one exposing it. You're the one not doing shit. You're the one believing in the fake religions that same satanic cabal gave you to control you. They knew they could control you by giving you fake fairy tales for you to think were so important. And that's why so many of you think that's all you can do with your life, believe in the fake fairy tale that does nothing for nothing. So yeah, tough words like always over here, but they're words that people need to hear and absorb. And again, you think you're better than me? You think I'm bad? Show me what you've done. Where's your resume? Where's your adult lifetime of service? I have an adult lifetime service record that goes back to my early 20s that's been building ever since. Don't tell me about how great you are and how bad I am. I don't know what the fuck you've done in your life. I've done a lot. So the tenets of Satanism, we've talked about them many a times. The first tenet of Satanism is to worship yourself. And that's why Satanism, I mean, that's one of my videos from 2013, that Satanism is the real religion of the day, because almost that's all you have in our society is a society of self-worshipers. And people will say, well, Zach, you do a bit of self-worship. Listen to what I say again, you guys. Like I say, I'm not really gloating about myself. It's just more about myself in projection of this very low society, this very pathetic society. That's not really me gloating about myself. That's me talking about just having the perspective of living in a society that's so inept and stupid and ridiculous and so hateful of the truth. So no, what I'm doing is not satanic. I'm just talking about the reality of the day for the hope of changing it, for the hope of the person that might be part of that low vibration society right now. Maybe they snap out of it and realize like, oh shit, maybe I do need to change some things. Maybe I need to be more than about just my sports team and whatever else you're about. I mean, the average American, consumerism, entertainment, sports. What else is there to them? Almost nothing. That's all they care about. Political party, who cares? Part of the deception. All right. Yeah, I'll put up a post too about DJ Hayden, but great work from the community. RIP to DJ Hayden, another sacrifice. And even on his Wikipedia, wearing the number 25. Sadly, that's one of those fateful numbers. Just like how you see Devil's got the 25 like Enlil, so does Death. You know, we're on the calendar with the Pope, all the rituals synced up. It's another fateful number, and there it is right in his Wikipedia on his chest. Dead 137 days after the 33rd birthday, 137 the 33rd prime, dead in Houston, 31 land where 31's the 11th prime, dead on 11/11, dead on a day to remember the dead, Armistice Day or Veterans Day. Yeah, again, all the people, like, again, that fake Rasta, never once, and all the time he's hung around, he's never shared any of this. He's never helped get out the word about any of this, not one time. Why was he? That's why I was wondering. I was like, why does he hang around so much? Why does he come out? Again, just to make a point about the fake Rasta, who's a total fucking loser, and Big Al, both of them have come out and pounded pavement. Big Al, when he was out there, had a sign. He was mad. He had a message. He was yelling out to the people of Seattle, asking for justice, to wake up, look into Event 201, look into this scumbag Bill Gates and the things he said. What was Yeah Right doing when he was out there with us? Silent, not saying a word, just filming all the different people there, recording all the different people like a fed. So his weirdo Cuts keeps calling in right now. Where's my Cash App? Well, we heard you, weirdo mental illness. You're saying I owe you money because supposedly somebody else owes you money. That doesn't make any sense. That would only make sense in the mind of a mentally ill loser. Guy who came into the community through the fake Rasta. But yeah, you guys, have your head on a swivel. Again, if you are going to fight for justice in this world, the sad truth is it probably will bring trouble into your life because, again, the tyrants, man, they're winning the war. They got the government, the infrastructure, the police force, the FBI, the CIA. They got the money printing. They can get people on payroll to come fuck with you. Again, it's a hard battle. It's a battle for real men. So for all the real men out there, and shout out to the real women, it's a battle for real people. For the real people who are up for the challenge and actually want to try and do something positive for the world, you're in the right place. For all the losers and wannabes and frauds and posers and people who don't know up from down and think somebody like me's a shill, just fuck off and shut the fuck up and remain irrelevant and continue to do the work of the tyrants, because that's what side you're on. Again, everybody who's ever gone against me, you're part of the tyranny. And whether you know that or not, it's a fact. You're part of the tyranny if you've ever tried to attack and slander me. You've never seen anybody in your life be here every single day for over a decade dropping facts that have the power to change the world and make it better. And all of you who don't help with that, it's because you don't want the world to be better. You're part of the evil. We'll leave it there. And until next time.